Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you're having a wonderful night tonight. We have so much fun stuff to talk about tonight. Some would say that there are years where nothing happens, and then there are weeks where decades happen. And that would apparently be the first week of 2026 as we are officially 1 week down. 7 days. 7 days. Country lines are changing. Geopolitics are changing. More riots erupting currently in Minneapolis. I saw rioters today in Sioux Falls. Not rioters, but protesters being aggressive, all right? In Sioux Falls, of all places, all right? So it's happening. It's hip, it's hop, it's happening. How is the chat doing? Hope you're all doing quite well tonight. No voice filter. I saw Bryce Kimball's the only guy who asks for a voice filter like every time I start a stream. Sorry, I only listen to yellows and reds, okay, when it comes to voice filters. Now, fun story about what was supposed to happen tonight. I originally was going to have the prepared father on for a bit of a back and forth, which would be fun, but he's having some issues, so we will push that back to later on. I texted Mike from Sons of Liberty Gunworks. No response once again, so he's busy, I'm sure. However, I have acquired the Mark 1. That's right, the SOCOM approved Mark 1 that probably our Delta baddies were using to capture Maduro and slay some Cubans. I've acquired it. I have it. So that part is real. Israel mentioned 5 minutes into the stream, world record. Now, kind of unimpressed. We'll get more into it later on, but for a $2,700 rifle, really? All right. But before we get into the night's festivities, Richard, how is your day going, sir?
Great. Once I figure out that I was muted.
Oh, I was like, oh yeah, very, very insightful. Always insightful, Richard. Just has exactly what you need to hear when you need to hear it. I saw somebody, I think it was Amorai Boy, post this again, and he's like, you got to use this for the chat, for the stream tonight. We just used it, but it continues to be applicable. Like, what a year, huh? Captain, it's January 7th. So we're 1 week in. 1 week in. Yeah, as Jack says, Sioux Falls is just Minnesota West. It kind of is, right? Because South Dakota is such a wonderful place for like 99% of it. And then there's just like a couple of less desirables, right? And they all happen to be in Sioux Falls. Although I would still say, say what you will, Sioux Falls is nicer than 99.9% of cities out there. Like, I took my wife and kids to the Christmas lights that they have at the actual falls, no undesirables milling about the park, just, good American stock, enjoying the Christmas lights, enjoying the festivities. So, not perfect, all right, but we do have a certain left liberal Somali influence as well, kind of bleeding over from Minneapolis.
Got those nice daycares.
Not for long. But you know what else is nice or not so nice? Speaking of things that are, less straight, as the chat was calling me for quite some time. This is just kind of funny. This is a very high quality mil-spec BCG, actually greater than mil-spec. If you look at it, this one here actually has the aux fasteners. This is from the wonderful company known as Delta Team Tactical or Davidson Defense. And I wonder if the chat could tell me what's wrong with this image.
4 out of 5 bolt carriers.
4 out of 5 bolt carriers or what? It's
yeah, natural curve.
Now, yeah, we like curves in our women. You don't like curves in your bolt carrier groups? All right. Seems a little racist of you, all right? It's just curvy, all right?
BCG got Crohn's disease.
True. Got a BBL. Is it AI generated? No, it's just it's Delta Team Tactical generated, so it's special. It's very, very special. It's just a little bit off.
Funny enough, they sent me a charging handle that would probably match that.
I have a different company, but I need to talk to them about it. I got one company to send me 4 back to back out of spec upper receivers that do not accept any charging handle.
Hmm.
And I'm like, how did you manage to do that 4 times in a row and not notice it?
4 is quite the accomplishment. I've gotten
Yeah, they're
3
all
from
worthless.
PSA, but
Well,
4
yeah,
is
this company isn't far off from PSA, but still, I'm like, really?
uh, uh,
Really?
one of the ones that I got from PSA. Not only was the charging handle not go in there, the bolt itself, the cam pin was crashing out into the side of the receiver, so it got made into a permanent 9 millimeter.
Mm. Yep, that'll do it. Speaking of other things that are a little gay, we this is just such a funny image to me. With you have Lawrence DeMonico of Rare Breed Triggers and ABC IP LLC, which is a really funny naming convention there. We have him sitting outside this farm suit. Lawrence is outside my house with a stack of papers. Now what's funny is this is Lawrence's MMO all the way back when I first interacted with him about the whole Alex thing. If you guys remember Alex, which is about a year ago now, and Lawrence actually came on the show. Lawrence will show up to your house to serve you with paperwork. So I think if I'm following it right in the Discord, I think we're up to 3 more companies that are engaged in lawsuits currently with Rare Breed or Rare Greed, as some people, as I think it's Hoffman, the guys who make that other super safety, and now this one. So we're up to 3. It's such a funny image that this is real. This is just Lawrence's MMO. He's like, I'm going to meet you, shake your hand, and tell you to F off or give me a bunch of money. Or both, right? Lawrence probably doesn't discriminate. The GOA lanyard is corny AF. Yeah. It's just a little silly, right? Which is why I had to put it in the thumbnail. Just this image. And he does this. He's done this multiple times. He tracked down Alex to multiple addresses and tried to serve him in public, but Alex never came outside to actually talk to him. It's just funny. It's just funny, all right? And I mean, the fact that he has to be he's doing the job that the ATF is supposed to be doing. So in a weird way, it's like, do you want to have Rare Breed show up to your door and hand you with paperwork, or like an ATF agent? And honestly, you might rather have Rare Breed, because I don't think the ATF, sorry, is going to be quite as lenient. Yeah, Dog, the bounty hunter of the 2A space. That's actually accurate. He's got some weird characters working for him too, so he just needs to expand his lineup a little bit. He is the ATF. Yeah. At least he does it himself. There is something honorable there about taking the time and energy and effort to look them in the eye, right? To know, like, hey, I know I'm screwing you over. I know I'm going to take thousands of dollars from you. I don't care. All right.
I
It's
think
mine. Give it to
he's
me.
too cheap to hire a process server.
You say that as if he hasn't spent like millions of dollars on this whole thing. So, yeah. All right. Well, speaking of spending money, I don't know if this is real. I don't know if this is fake. Okay. But you can bet on anything now. That's just how degenerate a society we are, right? You can bet on literally anything, including regime change, soldiers' movements, puts feet on the ground, all sorts of wacky things to do with geopolitics. And who would have better access to this information, insider trading, some might say, than the people actually putting on some of these ops? Are these Delta Force insiders? Are these high up personnel or whatnot? But this, if true, absolutely wild. So on Polymarket, you can bet on anything, absolutely anything. And the allegation here is that somebody did bet on the invasion, lots of different things on the invasion of Venezuela.
Dan Crenshaw got a tip from his boys at 6.
Yeah, Dan Crenshaw doesn't have any stocks, it's true, but he is buying heavily. He's buying parlays on Venezuelan invasions and on Russian oil tanker takeovers. So he doesn't have stocks. Yeah, no stocks, but many other places are being held.
To Dan Crenshaw's lawyer, that was a joke, by the way. I
Yeah.
don't want them to sue me.
Someone on Polymarket
Please
made
stop.
a ton of money on the U.S. capture of Nicolas Maduro, with flurries of bets seemingly lined up perfectly with key breakthroughs in the operation reported by the New. Here's what
hello?
happened. The operation reportedly kicked into gear as early as Christmas, with Trump authorizing it but leaving the precise timing up to Pentagon officials who delayed it several days due to inclement weather. 2 days later, on December 27th, a Polymarket account was created that immediately bet $96, weird amount, that U.S. forces would be in Venezuela by the end of January. Sometime around December 29th or 30th, weather
Now that on its own is like, okay, U.S. forces in Venezuela at some point between now and the 31st of January. Like that's actually not that wild of a bet if you rewind the clock, right? Because we knew that they were amassing forces. We knew that they were taking tankers. So like some sort of operation being held, whether it's even just like taking out a drug depot or alleged drug depot, right? I mean, that's a relatively safe bet, but it gets even wilder.
began to clear, and military commanders looked at a rolling window of the next few days. Over those next few days, the Polymarket account placed nearly $15,000 worth of bets between the evening of December 30th and midday on January 2nd. At 4:30 that afternoon, the operation was officially underway, with officials to spend the next 6 hours monitoring conditions on the ground. At which point, the Polymarket account was back, betting more than $20,000 late in this 6-hour window, with the final bet coming just 45 minutes before Trump officially authorized the raid. The next morning, as news broke, the account redeemed nearly $500,000 in winnings, before later that day cashing out their 2 bets that didn't hit but nonetheless appreciated 468% in value. Is this insider trading or extremely convenient trading? It's important to note that even if this is proven to be insider trading,
Right. So like right before authorization happens, right before it's a green light, it's a go, dude. It, $20,000 more, which isn't a whole lot of money, right? Although he still pulled out $500,000, right? So this, to me, it's like, is this like some like individual like Delta commander? Are the CAG guys pooling together to get a new pool table? All right, or whatever it might be. I don't know exactly what's for, because if it's really high up, you feel like, you know, $500,000 isn't like that much money.
I have a
But to
good
some of these
idea.
lower level guys, like maybe it's more.
I mean, you got to think that there's at least a couple of CIA assets that knew this was going down, and I'm sure that they
Yeah.
couldn't hurt a little bit of extra budget money.
Well, that's the thing though. I don't know if it's actually illegal. I don't know if it's actually illegal, technically speaking, because is it insider trading? It's not insider trading.
No.
It's not stocks. You're making a bet on a Polymarket, which Polymarket's international. So you might be violating some sort of like American
International betting law.
Well, but I don't even know if there is such a thing. But you might be violating your contract with the American government, right? If you're a government official, or like some sort of morality clause, right? But as far as like the actual transaction goes, like it's just bets you can make, right?
that might not be much of an issue. For one, it's occurring under an administration
Yeah,
that's been
that's a good point,
pretty
too.
ambivalent about pursuing.
As Fresh Pinochet says, are you telling me that online gambling site is being used to essentially launder money into untracked accounts? Valid point. Valid criticism.
Cases of insider trading. And although Polymarket's US rulebook includes a customary line against insider trading, their global platform does not have any restrictions or rules about it. Surely now, though, Polymarket will take steps to combat this.
I think what's cool about Polymarket is that it creates this financial incentive for people to go and divulge the information to the market.
Okay, maybe not. Something still.
Yeah, it's technically they're incentivized to divulge information to the market, but it's they're incentivized to lie, cheat, and steal, which is not a good thing. I mean, if you listen to how these betting companies, like how they picture the future, it's like people betting on everything. Everything is a bet, you know. You can bet on trains, you can bet on, you know, transportation, you can bet on literally every facet of your life, you know. You can gamble on it, all right? For the gambling addicts out there, this sounds like just one continuous gambling high, all right? But to everybody else, it's like the scam just moves on to everybody, okay? The house always wins. They're going to infect every facet of your life, whether you like it or not.
Might be done about it, though, as Representative Richie Torres introduced a bill to ban government officials from trading on prediction markets with insider information. If anyone has any insider information on whether or not this will pass, make sure you bet on Polymarket before it does. Someone
Please.
on Polymarket made a ton of money on the U.S. capture of Nicolas Maduro.
Yeah, 100. I want to see
With
all
Flores,
his
with Trump
the actual bets itself.
to include a Poly market amount.
Does he have just a picture? Okay. So Trump invokes war power. Maduro out by January 31st. War powers. Maduro out. War powers invade. Maduro out. Maduro out. Blah 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 blah. So I mean, he's buying these at different values essentially, right? So as the yes goes up in value, he's buying more and more, and approximately $20,000-$30,000 in total. Yeah. All right, free kill for 10. I just saw this. I'm going to respond to this right now. Something similar. There has been a few accounts that have been making bank on bets biased on Google AI releases or performance metrics, along with Google search trends that only an insider would know. Well, yeah, if you're a developer for one of these AI companies and you know when your next round of updates is going to be pushed through, why wouldn't you bet on that? Like, if your employer isn't going to crack down on you and I'm a code monkey and I'm like, oh, they want it ready for the January 6th release of the next update. Like, all right, guess who's going to bet exactly that thing, right? So, I mean, it does incentivize, in a way, it incentivizes public disclosure, but it's all for profit. And there's no moral backing to any of it, right? And in a bad way too, you can do the reverse and you can short the market and you can pump and dump even easier. So for people who are paying attention to this sort of thing. So net negative, I would say. It's going to make some people very rich, of course, but as the gambling craze infects every aspect of our life, I think it's only going to get worse and worse and become more of a net negative. But thank you, Free Kill. I appreciate it, sir. Thank you. All right. Well, now that we're done insider trading on, removing foreign presidents, what do you think the over-under is tonight on some absolutely wacky riots over in Minneapolis? Because we have a lot to go through. We might be seeing possibly the start of a George Floyd 2.0 or, a similar anti-ICE protest. So I didn't really know exactly what was going on today. I was heading into Sioux Falls to pick up the Sons of Liberty Gun Works Mark I that you see behind me. I didn't know what was happening, but there was just a bunch of protesters outside in the main town square area, about a dozen of them. F ICE, kill ICE, megaphones, all the weird things. They're like, oh, ICE are murderers. We need to ban them, kill them, whatever it might be, right? That these guys are yelling. And I was like, oh, okay. Weirdos being weirdo. I didn't know that there was a protest today, but fair enough. And I come home and I see, oh, I get it. Minneapolis is doing Minneapolis things, which is retarded lesbians attempting to kill ICE agents, or at least harm ICE agents, using a deadly weapon, a car, and then getting ventilated in response. Now, I do think that this is tragic. This isn't something necessarily to be celebrated in any way, shape, or form. I do think it is tragic in a way, but probably not the way that you guys are thinking of.
100% preventable.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things, right, where you see a situation escalate and at any point along the chain of events, it could have been stopped. It could have just not happened, right? It's like when you tell somebody not to move and then they just completely spurg out. It's like, if you just relaxed for a second, take a deep breath, okay? Take a deep breath, right? There's a certain group of people, George Floyd, that's good. There's a certain group of people that are excellent at escalating a traffic stop into a death sentence. All right. And it is absolutely preventable. Absolutely preventable. Just don't chimp out, okay? Just don't chimp out. So these guys are harassing ICE agents that are in Minneapolis. There's approximately, allegedly, an extra 2,000 that got deployed Monday, I want to say. So as of Monday, there's another 2,000, and they've allegedly arrested already 1,000 people in Minneapolis, which is a good start. I'm going to need 1,000 people a day for the next year, basically, and that'll fix most of the problem. So if you can do 1,000 people a day for the next year, that'll fix their issue. But you always have the chasers, the harassers, the we don't want you here, get out of here, you're so evil, how dare you enforce immigration laws or make sure that people aren't stealing our tax dollars or something like that, right? Well, yeah, but keep in mind, this is Minneapolis. We're talking about Minneapolis. So if I could remove about 500,000 from Minneapolis, I think that'd do the trick for that area. We need we need more nationwide, of course. But talking about Minneapolis, one city specifically, about 1,000 a day for a year.
It'd probably be easier to just remove the whole city.
So now this lady is blocking them. We see the previous ICE agent just go around. This is already bad. So we have this Foyd over here who is blocking the ICE agents, causing a disturbance. Not legal to do this, right? It's not actually a good thing to get in the way of a federal agent. Good things do not happen to you when you do these things, right? She's asked to get out. Now, unfortunately, this woman is actually better than that Seattle lieutenant we watched like a week ago who just didn't have her door unlocked. Because if she had her door unlocked, being a complete retard, then this guy would have just dragged her out of the car and the situation would have been averted. Crisis averted before it even happens, all right? So you can see here, she's put it in reverse because she's going to attempt to flee after she's been asked to leave. Again, like you can do this. You can attempt to flee an officer after you've been asked to stop. It's just you're already fleeing arrest, right? So now you're going to jail. Congratulations. Well, right. Congratulations. Now you're going to jail, regardless of if you get away or not. You're still going to like they can see you. They know who you are. Going to jail. Congratulations.
No!
Now we're going to get a couple different angles of this event. It might be difficult for you to see because there were a couple other ICE agents that have moved around from the right-hand side out of frame. But she indeed put the car in reverse to try and get out. Now, maybe she's just stupid and didn't notice the police officer in front of her or the ICE agent in front of her because she is interacting with the guy at her window. You could give her the possibility, the benefit of the doubt there if you were so inclined. However, yes, there is a ICE agent essentially standing directly in front of the car and does get hit by the car a little bit, not life-threatening or anyways, but he does get hit by the car. And he decides, which now this is where it's like justified, like on a technical level, yes. Necessary, probably not. Right? Now I do wish him the best because I believe he's going to be tried in Minneapolis, and Tim Waltz on his way out, the raped Tim Waltz is going to do everything in his power to make sure that these people get screwed over. And we've already heard the mayor and Tim Waltz, which we'll get to a little bit later on, try and posture, I guess, about this man. So she puts the car in drive, spins the tires, hits the man who decides to pull his gun defensively, which again is justified. If somebody attempts to hit you with a vehicle, that is an assault with a deadly weapon, and you are allowed to defend yourself. So whether you think it's justified or not is a different question, right? But it is on a technicality. That is what is happening here. She is assaulting him with a deadly weapon. He is allowed to respond in kind.
Oh, shit!
And so you can see that once that happens, I believe the officer fires 2 shots, basically point blank, while he is actively being hit by the car. The first shot, he's basically on the hood of the car. And I don't know if his leg is like partially trapped underneath, and then he gets away, but he one-hands 2 shots into the woman, which we'll get into in just a minute. And she passes away basically instantly. She's out. Car continues to accelerate on because, still on the accelerator.
What the fuck? What the fuck? You just fucking, what the fuck did you do?
Now we have some other angles of this, but as you're going to see,
fucking criminals! You're fucking criminals! What the fuck?
So now they're worried about criminals?
well, that's the thing. It's like they are here. ICE is here to deport people and enforce the law. You may not like it, but that is what they are there to do. The woman objectively hit him with her car, which is, again, technically speaking, assault with a deadly weapon, while fleeing arrest, while attempting to flee arrest, right? So in the act of multiple crimes, one police officer feels it's justified, feels like his life is in danger, and responds with deadly force. And again, you can say it's justified. My take on it is that on a technical level, it is justified. On a technical level, it's not. It's, self-defense. Probably not necessary, right? Because if she had gotten away, they would have just arrested her later. But I mean, yeah.
What the fuck? What the actual fuck? You are fucking insane! You! Shame!
Now listen to this NPC talk. It's like this is all they know, right? Shame, shame, shame. This retard also holding the camera, which I believe is going to be revealed to be this person's wife. So, you know, let's be honest here, but nobody seems to be caring about this person's well-being. So even this officer here, he checks on her and is like, "Oh, she did," and just moves away. And nobody goes to check on this woman, as far as I can tell. Yeah, it's so Reddit brained. Wife,
Speaking
shame,
of brain,
shame.
I'm gonna guess that that's probably where one of the rounds went, because after seeing I've seen a picture from the inside of the car, and the blood was on the upper part of the airbag. So she probably took one to the chest and face.
Well, I mean, it point blank. It was basically a muzzle. The second shot kind of through an open window. The first one through the windshield, second one through the open window. Central Stands Defense, Ben, also police officer on the show, appreciate you, sir, says, every cop worth their salt knows you do not stand in front or behind of cars that are not immobilized or pinned. Justified? Sure. Officer created jeopardy? Also, yes. I think you might be correct, Ben, but in the other angle, we're going to see that he was making his way around the vehicle to the side when she moved forward. So I think he was attempting to help the other officers on the other side of the vehicle and making his way, and just poor timing as soon as he gets in front of the vehicle and he's not able to clear it in time before she moves forward. I think we're going to see that in the other angle. I could be wrong, though. But yeah, justified, yes. Officer created jeopardy, like, also, yes. Column A and B.
You! Shame! 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 Shame!
Tom Foe, hope you're having a good night, sir, quotes, Tusi versus Billiot. I am not familiar with this specific case, but I'm sure I can get a synopsis really fast. The case, Tui versus Billow, involves a legal dispute following the fatal shooting of Gus Tusis by DEA Special Agent Keith Billow during a high-speed chase, with the court ultimately ruling in favor of Billiot's qualified immunity. Okay, so similar agent with a drug guy instead of ICE. Yeah, no, and I've seen many police-involved shootings where somebody tries to take them out with a vehicle, even at very low speeds. I remember a woman stole a car. The officer attempted to detain her, and then she moved towards him at 5 or 10 miles an hour. And he still met her with lethal force, right? Because you don't just let somebody run you over with a car. It's not. That's not how we operate around here.
Shame! 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 What's happening to her? What happened?
They get. It's all these middle-aged wine moms just out with their phones out. What are you doing? Now, I don't know if there's anything else, because it's just going to be more yelling, screaming, unintelligible noises, unintelligible women noises happening for a minute. But we do have a second angle of the event. Whoa, that's way louder. Let's turn that down a little bit. So this is going to give us a second angle of what actually happened. We should be able to slow it down a bit as well. Playback speed, we'll go quarter to start. Turn that down. So we can see this officer here. Yeah, he's hit by the vehicle and physically moved several feet. And then he fires 2 shots. The woman is probably gone at this point in time, and then just completely smashes into and obliterates these cars here. But let me do that again a little bit. So it's hard to see. It's not a great angle. So you can see the officer posted up. He's moving across. And this is when the vehicle rams forward, does physically hit him, moves him probably 5 or 6 feet, and he fires 2 rounds. Right. So can you zoom in, John? It's difficult to zoom in on X. Let me see if I can download the video. I can't download the video, of course. We have another angle that's going to be slowed down and zoomed in, ready to go though. Hope you're having a good night, John. So you can see it. He gets hit by the vehicle right there, dragged along the side a little bit as he's moving around the front end. I think we have 3 different angles. Fortunately, we do have 3 different angles because, again, the downside of everybody being a content-brained retard is that everybody is recording. Okay, so there's the officer does appear as he's moving across. Then she moves forward instantly. Once she moves towards him, very important is he does not draw the gun, at least from what I'm seeing here. The gun does not come out until she is moving towards him. So she has already made her movement towards him, again, with a 4,000-pound vehicle before he draws his firearm. Now, you could argue, well, he shouldn't have been there. He should have been more off to the left or more off to the right, so he couldn't have been in our way. Tactically speaking, sure, but because of where he was right here, yep. So as soon as she starts moving towards him, you can see the gun comes out.
Yeah, reverse lights off, brake lights off. Vehicle starts to move forward, gun comes out.
Yeah, regardless if it's 4,000 or 5,000 pounds, right? The vehicle does also physically hit him and move him several feet. Like 5 or 6 feet, he is dragged by the vehicle as he is attempting to move out of the way while drawing at the same time. Total lesbian death. My gosh, guys. See, I can see it right here. So she's moving forward. Tires are spinning, lurching forward. Now, you could argue, well, he had like a half second to move out of the way. Why didn't he just jump out of the way?
He could be
Again,
on ice.
That's also very true. You do see the
And
tires
if
spinning.
he
This
slips
is
and
Minneapolis.
falls, then he's getting crushed either
Yeah.
way.
Ban assault. Actually, this is true. We should take away lesbian driver's license. I think if we do this, certain people just shouldn't be allowed driver's license. But I mean, here you can see it. It's lurching towards him. He does draw out his gun. At this point, he's being hit by the vehicle, and you can see this guy's getting dragged. He's getting dragged. Fires 2 rounds into the woman. Very lucky that nobody else gets hit as well. I've seen way less. It sounds weird in this context, but discretionary cops where they will fire a number of rounds and miss almost all of them. So, and there's at least 4 other ICE agents around the vehicle that's in motion, not to mention at least a half dozen bystanders as well. Now, we do have a update on the woman herself. So this is the poet, a leftist lesbian poet in Minneapolis steps into a car. The jokes write themselves. Poet Renee Nicole Good, 37, named as Minneapolis woman shot dead by ICE agent as video captures grieving wife at the scene.
They just killed that lady right there in that car, y'all.
Okay, guys, I do have a question for the chat. Do you prefer the white woman hysterics narration or the hood narration? That was good. That was good timing.
They just killed that lady right there in that car, y'all. Hey, was you riding with her? Did you call any of your peoples yet? So you don't got none of her family members or anybody number? Do you know anybody on her Facebook? Alright, damn. But they just killed her, bro.
Maybe it's just the tone of voice, but there is so little empathy. Damn. They just killed that bitch, dude.
Well, he's probably used to it.
Yeah, man.
This is probably far from the
Yeah.
first murder that he's seen in front of his house.
Yeah, well, there's part of that. She can't breathe. Literally George Floyd. Now, again, jokes aside, guys, I do think that this is a tragic, unnecessary loss of life. At 37 years old, you should be having a wonderful time with a brood of children and expecting grandchildren within the next several years. You should be baking cookies and, reading bedtime stories at 37, not being a gay poet protesting Somali rapists not getting removed by ICE. Like, all right, the
Yeah.
life that you could have been, the life that you should have had, but through your own actions, of course, because I do. Women taking accountability for their actions, challenge impossible. You don't get to run over ICE agents. It's just one of those things. You just don't get to do it. You just don't do it. And this is one of those situations, again, where every single person involved could have done something slightly different to not have this outcome. But at the end of the day, it's between the officer and that lady. So I'm sure that officer will have the best lawyers possible. And I'm sure that Tim Waltz and the other, who's the retarded Minneapolis mayor? I forget his name. It's something gay and Jewish. Yet I repeat myself. Tim Fay, something like that. No, and of course, the ICE guy wasn't like, oh, dude, I can't wait to kill a 37-year-old lesbian. Like, who wakes up in the morning and thinks, other than this chat, I can't wait to wake up and kill a 37-year-old lesbian as she's attempting to murder me with her vehicle, right? Yeah.
The Somali might.
Jacob Frey, that's the name, Jacob Frey. Jacob Frey, yes. I think he is actually gay and Jewish. I think that is just a correct statement. A woman shot dead by Immigration and Customs Enforcement in Minnesota has been named as 37-year-old poet Renee Nicole Good. I'm actually curious because, yeah, as people in the chat were saying, when you say poet, do you just mean unemployed? Is that what you mean? The mother of three was named by her mother, Donna Granger, who spoke to the Minneapolis Star Tribune on Wednesday afternoon. She was probably terrified. I'm sure she was terrified because she was about to go to jail. She was about to get arrested for obstructing ICE, okay? And then she decided to almost run one over and then get shot, right? You have to understand that those were her actions. She did not have to do that. She chose to do that. Those were her witting, willful actions to move forward with a ICE man standing in front of her. Probably terrified. The grieving mom denied reports Good would have been part of anything like protests against ICE. Didn't do nothing, really, that were taking place at the location where she was killed. That's so stupid. She said Renee was one of the kindest people I've ever known. Well, she did try to murder somebody earlier. She was extremely compassionate. I wonder what her views on white people are. I wonder where that extremely compassionate nature ends. She's taken care of people all her life. She was loving, forgiving, and affectionate. She was an amazing human being. Good was a poet, mother of three children. Oh, no. Oh,
Yeah.
That's actually tragic. So she had a husband, left a husband, three baby daddies. Husband died, and she was married to comedian Timothy Macklin, who died in 2023 and now lives in Minneapolis with her partner, whose name has not been shared. Oh, she and Macklin had one child together, so she did have multiple. A 6-year-old son who is now orphaned. That is tragic. Absolutely tragic. His paternal grandfather told the publication there's nobody else in his life. Well, there's you, buddy. Time to step up, granddad. I'll drive, I'll fly to come get my grandchild, which you absolutely should. I'm sorry that this is the result of your offspring, but yeah, it's time to step up. Good was shot 3 times, so it was 3 bullets. 3 times in Minneapolis on Wednesday after she... Yeah, I mean, it was fatal. Yeah. After she ignored ICE agents' demands to get out of her car, reversed it, and tried to drive off. Okay, well, at least they're not lying here, because this is correct. She did reverse it. She was actively attempting to flee after they had commanded her to stop, so she was evading arrest. And then in the commission of a crime, hit the ICE officer, who then decided to, end her life. Justifiably so, legally, technically speaking. And we have the video here. All right. Well, and then this is what caused the rest of the commotion to happen, which is why we're getting protests, which is why there is, 720 people on a Wednesday night watching this show on YouTube and another 100 on X right now, is because things are probably going to pop off, as the kids say, with this death galvanizing retarded liberals everywhere. And again, I do want to say, this is not something to be celebrated. You shouldn't be happy and, dancing in the streets because a 37-year-old lesbian got murdered by being a retard. It is tragic on all accounts. And these people need help. They're psychotic. They're literally psychotic, right? In their delusional faux righteousness, they're white knighting for people who hate you. Imagine dying well, I guess in a way it can be based on like a really Christian context. But these are not, this is not some sort of Jesus figure. This is not some sort of martyrdom situation, okay? You are like advocating for people who are going to replace you, hate you, do terrible things to your children in the future. Like you're not actually being a good person. This is like faux righteousness. You are so devoid of absolute of any morality in your life that you're faking it. You're picking up a cause. It's a fake cause to give you some sort of sense of purpose in life, you know, as you're a lesbian dog mom with 3 kids from 3 different people, right? Needs some sort of purpose in your life, and this is what you choose to do. Absolutely pray for the children in this. Virtue signaling. It's as simple as it gets. It's virtue signaling. You have nothing else going on in your life. You need some windmill to fight. You need some monster to fight. And that is like the fascist government removing people who shouldn't be here in the first place. And now these protests against ICE are, of course, going to escalate, which is good for leftists, right? Because they need something to galvanize the community, to bring them together, to bring people out. Because, I mean, for the last couple months, it's been pretty dead in terms of support from like the average leftist. But now they're going to get a groundswell of people looking to riot, looking to steal. For some reason, the death of a 37-year-old poet lesbian is reason to steal TVs from Best Buy. I don't know how that works out. Maybe there's food in those TVs or something, or whatever that retard Joe Rogan said. But yeah, I think that this is an excuse for the agitators to get moving and agitate. Okay, this is a tool for societal discontentment. It's going to be publicized everywhere. They're going to be calling all ICE agents murderers. They're going to be saying anything you do to them is justified because ICE agents are ontologically evil. Nazis are ontologically evil. Oh, by the way, you white straight man, you are a Nazi by definition. So again, anything we do to you or your children is completely justified. Now, so far we have a couple really great interactions with, again, we have the full video of this, but this is a protester post the death of the 37-year-old lesbian poet that are attempting to grab this man's service weapon. And he says, no, would you like a face full of tear gas or whatever sort of dispersal agent this is? And he says, all right, fair enough. Yeah, don't do that. Don't do that, Mr. Man. Don't grab somebody's service weapon. You're lucky it wasn't something else. We have the full video here, which is even better. We have surprisingly, this is not the only instance of these DHS, these ICE agents actually using the headshot methodology at point blank range with the 37 mil. So if you didn't catch that right there, he is like holding on to his rifle, to the 37 mil launcher right there, and he's pulling on it as these guys are saying, get back, get back, get back, get back, you know, don't interfere with business. We're doing our job. We're forcing, not only just doing our job, but we're enforcing the laws, as is our mandate of the masses and our legal mandate as well. And this guy's holding his service weapon, which happens to be a 37 millimeter launcher. And yeah, he uses it in an appropriate manner. Now look at that, just instant attitude change, instantaneous. It's like an off switch. Okay, it's like getting your stuff knocked, getting your bell rocked. Okay, instant turn off. He's like, oh, okay. I'm just going to slowly saunter away as the reality of what has just happened sinks in. You know, I don't know if he's quite all there. Not sure if he was quite all there to begin with, but yeah, the before and after is very good.
Whoa! Kill someone else! Kill someone else!
The Fed agitator in the crowd, kill somebody else, kill somebody else. It's like, well, I mean, if you attempt to assault us, that is exactly what's going to happen.
Kill someone else! Whoa! Kill someone else! Kill someone else!
Well, that's why like I'm like 4 hours away from Minneapolis. I was just there like 2 weeks ago or like a week ago. Actually, a week ago today, I was in Minneapolis. Terrible place. But I think that in Sioux Falls, we're going to see something minor compared to what we're going to see in Minneapolis. And I'm sure other hell holes, anything where you have more of these types of people, you're going to see more aggressive conflict take off. That would be my guess, anyways. As our Vandalay says, yeah, stay carrying, dude. Stay carrying. Could be a couple very, very interesting days. The Fent was numbing him anyways. You can see where it hit, mostly in his hood. So I don't know if that softened the blow at all, but that just doesn't sound like a good time, okay? I'm pretty sure that was like a right hook from Mike Tyson. Not to mention whatever that agent actually happens to be that's not pleasant to be around.
That's CS powder.
Is it just powder?
Well, it's CS powder. It's spicy dust.
Mm. Fear no lefties. Yeah, I mean, here we have a second angle. Well, this isn't a second angle. Sorry, this is a second event. I actually like this one. This one might be my favorite clip. Okay, perfect. You guys can see it. So again, there's a vehicle, an ICE vehicle, as they're detaining people who are getting too rowdy, who are either, they're illegally, whatever, in the action of their duties, right? In the process of their duties, you have these protesters who are recording, who are assaulting their vehicles, who are attempting to block their vehicles, right? And they get met in kind. It's like, hey, you should let these vehicles go by in official, in our official duties, our official capacities. Boom. And again, it's like this 40-year-old wine mom or something. What are we doing here? What are we doing, lady? You should be baking a pie. You should be baking cookies for your grandkids that are walking in after school or something like that, right? Like we got better things to be doing here. I do like how it's like, look at all these hyper expensive cameras that are recording everything, right? It's the media, and then perfectly placed behind the one old lady protester who's about to get her shit rocked. We have all the cameras perfectly placed and ready to go. I mean, I'm just pointing things out, all right? But then she is boom, right to the face, dog. Yeah, but they want to be right because that looks good. That's good media right there, okay? If I was that cameraman, I'd be fine with getting a little bit of a spicy dust for that shot, okay? Because that's a good shot. That's a perfect shot right there. I don't know of any place I'd rather be. I'm not directly getting the impact.
Perfect shot too.
Well, it's a good shot for us too, okay? Karen's about to be catching M855A1. Well, no. Not unless one of them produces a deadly weapon or a vehicle to run these people over with, which, again, we've already seen this exact same thing. Remember, what was it, 2-3 weeks ago in Chicago? A woman tried to, or a group of people tried to box in a ICE caravan with their cars and were ramming the ICE vehicles, and one of them did take a rifle and shoot them, or a handgun and shoot one of the drivers. It's like, yeah, if you assault ICE agents with a vehicle, you're gonna get maximum force in return. See, I want the longer clip though. I want like the 3-minute clip so I can see the aftermath of all of it. But yeah, absolutely a waste of life. And they are going to use this waste of life to attack more ICE agents, to gum up the wheels of them actually doing anything useful, which is, again, deporting these people, removing these people from our country, from our tax system, from our schools, from our healthcare systems. These people that are scamming in every way, shape, and form that they can, they're just thieves, and I want them all gone. Now, again, allegedly, as of 2 days ago, 2,000 more ICE agents have been deployed to Minneapolis specifically. Allegedly, they've already arrested about 1,000 people, which, again, they would need to do 1,000 people a day for a year before we got the illegal migrant issue, or the scam artist issue, kind of solved in Minneapolis by itself. 1,000 people a day for a year. So not just, oh, we sent some people here for 2 weeks and we got a couple thousand people. It's like, that's not good enough. It's Minneapolis. There's probably up to 500,000 people that should not be there, that should be gone. So to clean up one city, it's going to take 10,000 agents, you know, at a rate of 1,000 people a day, arresting them and, you know, processing them and getting them out of the city, out of the state, out of the country to actually fix one city in America. And that's how bad it is, which is why it's a problem that sending 2,000 agents and having this show of force and even deporting several thousand people sounds good, looks good, doesn't actually accomplish all that much. Not in the grand scheme of things, anyways. Big Bean says there's 10,000 Guatemalans in my town of 40 Kane, Kentucky. That's what I'm saying, dude. It's rough out there. It's very rough out there. It would take a purge level event for a year to remove the 40 to 80 million people in America that shouldn't be here.
Yeah, you severely underestimate my rage, sir.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, it would take a World War II level death count for America in 1 year. America by itself in 1 year.
271,000?
I'm talking about the actual death count, which is about 100 million.
Oh, okay.
About 100 million, right? It would take that level of violence condensed into a single year in a single country to get rid of everybody who should be here illegally. Shouldn't be here at all, right? Whether that be through visa fraud illegally or, you know, birthright DACA nonsense that we should have never gotten into. Thanks, Ronald Reagan. Yeah. Anyways, well, you know, this kind of sums it up. And it's so I just shot you in your car, and here's why. You aren't allowed to hit me with it. Regardless of what you think of ICE agents, regardless of whether you think it was necessary or justified, it's very true. You just can't commit, you know, assault and battery or assault with a deadly weapon. Just can't do that. Just don't do that. A couple more, you know, just a little humorous takes on the situation when you try to ram ICE with your car and they blow your shit. Smooth off. Smooth off. JFK could not survive what you just got. It's like, okay, I'm gonna run over this cop. Damn, this cop got bullets. Damn, they just killed that white girl. Dude, they just killed that girl. And then yeah, this is the ICE protest that I saw today in Sioux Falls, which again, a bunch of middle-aged white women and boomer men. There were a few men there, but mostly of the much older variety. But they were out there saying, "Oh, you done a heckin' murder? You done a heckin' fascism? F ICE. We don't want ICE here. We want to kill them. We should, you know, they're fascists. We need to kill them. They're murderers. We need to kill them. We need to get them out of here. Whatever. You didn't do a heckin' due process." Again, you know, she ran him over in the commission of another crime, which is not going to look good. You didn't let my friend run you over with Zercar. Probably, actually, that's true. What pronouns? Maybe we've been got killed over some Somalis award. Of all the things to die for, it couldn't have been your children. Libtards when you shoot their lesbian partner in the head point blank. She had a mind-blowing experience. Stop. Man, that's mean. Here's a third angle of this.
Recent ICE
Legally armed America. Let me see. Third angle. This was part of the one that we watched. Thank you for the loogie there. Wow, that's just really adds to the whole environment, doesn't it, dude? Thank you. Again, that angle doesn't really give us any more details. I mean, we hear the three shots. This one here is the one that everybody's seen.
No! No! Shame! Shame!
Okay, so there's definitely 3 shots there.
Yeah, and then
Yeah,
the third one
that
was just
and then the third one's the ones that we've already seen. Yeah. And so yeah, you can see how far he gets hit there, how far he gets moved in that video. And you can see that her foot was mashed on the accelerator, if she was still there at all. Too Many Choices says shots 2 and 3 were questionable AF. I'm not entirely sure. I mean, we can make it go real slow here.
I don't think so. Not at all.
I mean, we can make it go real slow here and answer that.
Let's check the splits.
Well, obviously they went where they were intended, unfortunately, because she, according to the report, she was shot in the face 3 times. Right. So she backs up, instantly puts it into drive, tires spin, drops. 1, 2. See, I'm saying 2. 2 was point blank almost through the window.
Yeah, 2 was screwing.
2 and 3 were right there.
3
So,
maybe slightly questionable, but he's still getting drug at that point.
Yeah, he's like attached to the vehicle. And shot 2 is like him almost hanging on to the front / bumper / wheel. And his gun looks through the window, like temple to muzzle. 2 was through the mirror. So again, 1, we can go frame by frame here too. Upload. Gun. Gun is not in the mirror. This obviously is really blurry too. And right here is shot 2. There's shot 2. Or is that shot 3?
I think that's 3.
That was 3. So let's watch it one more time. I know this is kind of
The
disturbing.
second shot comes so fast that
1, 2. Yeah, it's definitely not through the mirror. You can see gap between that and the mirror for sure. 1, 2, 3. So there, shots 2 and 3 are within a foot of the actual person itself. So it's very close.
I do think she was on her way away from him when the third one broke, but the first and
Yes.
second one were clear. And by that point in time, the third one doesn't really matter.
I mean, they might try and get him on something really technical like that, but I'm not sure. So here's in full speed. Yeah, so maybe you could say the third one was not quote unquote justified, but I don't even know what that means. Right. But that is unfortunately going to be for lawyers to discuss. Now, this is earlier today. We had Blackhawks spotted overhead at Minneapolis as the National Guard prepares for deployment. I'm pretty sure Tim Waltz says in a clip that we're about to get to that they're going to deploy the National Guard to attempt to stop ICE from doing their jobs, which sounds like, you know, I guess Civil War type stuff, if you really want to get into that realm of things.
I don't think that they can do that.
We'll see. Blackhawks are absolutely appropriate. But I mean, I think Trump should be allowed to put in the National Guard to repel foreign invaders anytime he feels like. I think any sitting president should be allowed to use the National Guard to deport people who are illegally here, who are actually foreign invaders, right? And here's this retard, Tim Waltz, today on his way out, right? These last few months of his political campaign, as he's like, oh, I got to deal with one more thing on the way out, don't I? How can I embarrass myself in this once great state even more? How can I sell out my constituents one last time before I go? I know I can cater to the rioters, I can cater to the illegals, I can cater to the scamming Somalis, I can make this country even worse, this state even worse, okay? I'm gonna do as much as I can on the way out.
Other than my primary responsibility as governor is the protection of the people of Minnesota. And you can be assured, whether it's the State Patrol or whether it's the National Guard, their deployment is there to protect Minnesotans from whatever it is. If it's an act of nature, if it's a global pandemic, or in this case, if it is a rogue federal agent. I don't know at this time, and I want to be very careful. Other than my primary responsibility as governor is the protection of the people of Minnesota, and you can be assured
The citizens of Minnesota, not the people stealing from your constituents. Governor Walz said that he is deploying the Minnesota National Guard to protect Minnesotans from rogue federal agents, meaning ICE. This is extremely dangerous stuff. Civil War, Fort Sumter, invoke the Insurrection Act. Don't think that's ever going to actually happen, but this could be a tool of escalation for either side. I'm sorry to hear that, Gecko Chaser. Having a broken relationship with your father is a terrible sign. Hopefully you're not stripping and doing OnlyFans. But I am sorry to hear that. There are bad fathers out there for sure. Now this is kind of, I guess, comical, you could say. This is from the end of last year. Black people want an ICE agent arrested for shooting a man celebrating New Year's Eve by firing a rifle and then aiming it at the agent. So many such cases of didn't do nothing. This is the type of people that we're dealing with here. All right. Didn't do nothing. He was just celebrating New Year's Eve and, decided to point rifles at the agents responding to him shooting rifles into no man's land. Very nice.
Today, activists are set to meet with the LA County District Attorney to demand action after a man was shot and killed by an off-duty ICE agent in Northridge.
Keith Porter's friends and family held a vigil for him last night. The Department of Homeland Security says the agents opened fire when Porter pointed a rifle at him on New Year's.
Yeah, they do be doing that. Once again, it's like, can you run over an ICE agent or anybody with your vehicle? Nope, can't do that. Can you point a gun at them? Also, no. Like, I feel like this is just reasonable, okay? If you point a firearm at somebody who also has a firearm, you're going to get shot. I feel like that's just the thing. It do be like that, though. It's true. You point a rifle at somebody and they shoot you because you pointed a rifle at them. All right? Don't do that.
By
you
an
think
off-duty
they,
ICE agent in Northridge.
Keith Porter's friends and family held a vigil for him last night. The Department of Homeland Security says the agents opened fire when Porter pointed a rifle at him on New Year's Eve. But advocates say the 43-year-old father of two was just observing the holiday that night with gunfire.
Today,
Just observing the holiday with gunfire, and they pointed rifles at the guys who showed up. Lost Arrow asks, what is in your shaker bottle, Focus? It's pre-workout, pineapple flavoring, and creatine. So it's like caffeine, beta-alanine, a few other L-theanine, a few other citrulose. Is that the one? Yeah. A few other things that are in there, and then creatine and pineapple flavoring. So it tastes good.
No fent.
No fent, not yet. No, I'm just kidding, guys. It's lean. All right. Sipping on that lean. All right. I need that drink. Sipping on that drink, celebrating the holiday. Firing guns into the sky. Just observing. I got to listen to that again. He's just observing the holiday. He may have pointed a gun at an ICE agent, but he's just observing the holiday.
Friends and family held a vigil for him last night. The Department of Homeland Security says the agents opened fire when Porter pointed a rifle at him on New Year's Eve. But advocates say the 43-year-old father of two was just observing the holiday that night with gunfire.
today, activists are set to meet with the LA County District Attorney to demand action after a man was shot and killed by an off-duty ICE agent in Northridge.
Keith Porter's friends and family held a vigil for him last night.
Demand action for what? For what? Hey, retard. Don't point guns at people after shooting into the sky on New Year's Eve. Don't do that. Like, I feel like it does, like, regardless of the context, like, you point a rifle at somebody else, you get shot. Like, in polite society, we just don't do that here.
And this was
We don't
LA.
do that here. Father of two. Yeah, with at least two baby mamas. No shot, they said that. You listen to it. You tell me they didn't say that.
Fire when Porter pointed a rifle at him on New Year's Eve. But advocates say the 43-year-old father of two was just observing the holiday that night with gunfire.
Today, activists are set to meet with the LA County District Attorney to demand action after a man was shot and killed by an off-duty ICE agent in Northridge.
Yeah. What a wacky story. Let me see.
This is the first
Kim
time that I've
Jong-un.
seen LA County not completely freaking out because of gunfire.
I feel like that's just normal. His vehicle was parked to the upper right of hers. He got out and was making his way to the driver's side because he was filming her arrest for court proceedings. She decided to try and kill him for it. Well, I mean, that's what it looks like, is that he was making his way around and just didn't make it out of the way beforehand. Give you a little like there. He didn't make it out of the way beforehand, which again, you could say, okay, well, that's a tactical error on his part. That's a procedural error on his part in terms of what he should have been doing. However, at no point in time should she have attempted to run him over. Right.
I thoroughly appreciate the handle there.
Yeah. Hi, girl over Frank killing comments. Well, that is Kim Jong-un. What is his name now? He always changes it. I got to find it somewhere around here. His name is Kim Jong-un, thick girl. And dude, that thumbnail, dude.
Oh, God.
That PFP, bro. Kim Jong-un, thick girl, enjoy. This is literally him. Appreciate that, sir. King of good PFPs and good names. All right. Well, that kind of does our rage bait section. Not even our rage bait section. We do have some more stuff coming up politically, but I think we're going to put that off for a minute because we do have some fun actual gun stuff to talk about, not just news.
What?
But yeah, SHOT Show's right around the corner. And EOTech's like, you know what? I heard you liked her 3 to 9 somewhat. And Hop was like, well, kind of. It was okay. And then they're like, okay, well, fine. We'll give you a 4 to 12 as well. Okay. So we're giving you another compact, boys, 5.5 inches. Some would say that's oversized, to be honest, more than anyone would ever need, but
bigger than a Magnum.
They are coming up. It's pretty big. It's pretty big. But yeah, we got a new EOTech drop. But before we do, we're going to get to some of your guys' support real fast, because you guys have been very generous and we greatly appreciate you guys in the new year. Small Ball for 2 says Canada is near and French. Can we send Delta in? We could. I like how Canada's like, well, we strongly condemn the actions of this government and its, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, dude, I just don't even care, dude. You should be a tax resort for Americans, okay? Stop talking.
I find it funny that Trudeau decided to take the side of Putin.
Well, his father was closely aligned with Russia for many years, so I think it checks out, to be honest. Thank you, Small Ball. Appreciate you, sir. Sabardic Psycho for 5 says, making a beer run. What you want? John probably wants Bud Light. That's a gay joke. Yuck. Disgusting. I don't even drink alcohol. Okay. You think I could look this good and drink alcohol? It's a trick question. Amorite Boy for 2 says, Leighton gayer than Kaylee P.
I think that is in reference to the Kaylee's cans, the troon who's selling.
Oh, no, thank you. People were posting like, oh, dude, John, you gotta talk about this. You gotta talk about this trans gun bunny. You gotta talk about this trans gun bunny. I'm like, I'm not talking about that. I'm not doing that.
No, we don't.
No,
we don't care.
No. Yeah, it's like they're all just gross and gay and weird. They're all
what
weird.
was up with somebody wanting you to cover the
cosplayers? I was trying to find that now, which again, it's like, take your pick about which one of these are male or female. Okay, I apologize to my fans in advance for this.
They're all dudes. They're all dudes.
Well, I don't know if they're all dudes, but again, it's like, you gonna take this chance? You guys like, oh, John, you have to cover the cosplayers range day. Like, no. Thank you, my boy. Josh for 2 says, put this towards the new watch. Yeah, I need a new watch. I have a watch over here, but its band is broken, so I definitely need a new watch. Thank you, Josh. Moonman for 5 says, the barbaric alien tongue of those who do not know Space King's light shall find my ears deaf. That's a good quote. I have the picture here for that somewhere. Yes, this is what I This is what I hear and see when some repulsive alien tries to speak to me. It's just repulsive alien hysterics. Whatever. Lightsport for 2 says, how to Muppet like you pass selection. What the hell kind of name is Soap? True. Lightsport for another 2 says, John, personally, I love John being on his Warhammer arc. Yeah, I've been playing a lot of Warhammer. It's fun. It's fun stuff. It's interesting. A little nihilistic, but I think we can map it onto modern politics well. Deer Hunter, member for 3 months, says, looking sharp, big man. Thank you. Appreciate you, sir. I just got this suit today. So I tried it on 2 minutes before the show started. That's why I was kind of late.
You look like a lawyer.
Thank you. I think. No, actually, that's an insult.
Yeah, that is an insult.
Actually, yeah. Fired? Prepared Father for 5 says, I didn't say issues. I said tissues to clean up my wife after she's done with her boyfriend. Prepared Father, I'm going to get you. I'm going to get you on one of these days. Moonman for 10 says, going to get Goyslop. Richard, that thing I made you. What Goyslop? What's your favorite Goyslop? Certified Goy Classic. Thank you, Moonman. Appreciate you. Hope you have a good meal. Probably Chipotle. Let's be real. He's got a bit of a beaner streak in him. Vandalay for 5 says, Geisley R made my BCG for a slight ding on the rear. Delta Team Tactical is the quote unquote, or the hashtag just as bad. It's very bad. It's lowest of the lowest. Now it had a ding on it, like a little scratch or like a dent on the back, like a scuff mark. Like if you're that worried about a little mark on your BCG, I mean, I think you got bigger issues to worry about, Vandalay. But it's good of guys to do that. Thank you, Vandalay. Madden Williams for 5 says, hey, John, thinking about ordering an upper from you. I'm debating getting a 12.5 or an 11.5. As I understand, you can get a mid-length in a 12.5 and not an 11.5. Trick question. You can get it a mid-length in both. However, it is more appropriate for a 12.5 than an 11.5. CAC makes a very interesting suppressed only 11.5 mid. So if that's something you want, just hit me up and let me know what you actually want to use it for, and we can go from there. But both good. I have 12.5s and 11.5s, although I think I like 11.5s more.
I recommend the 12.5. It just seems to fit better.
Yeah, Richard's the size queen. Aaron Keener for 2 says, opinion on buying modern materials AR-15 other. I think you mean upper. Modern materials AR-15. I don't even know what this is. So home of modern material. Aaron asks me a really technical question on a Wednesday night stream. Let's see. I hate all the things. Yeah, what is it? Modern 2016 compliant. Are they just nice upper receivers, dude? I don't care. They're fine. They're fine, man, unless they're made out of something wacky. Don't buy a magnesium upper. And I have a magnesium upper. Don't buy one. Free Kill for 10 says something similar. There's been a few accounts that have been making bank on bets biased on Google AI releases of performance matrices along with Google search trends that only an insider would know. Yeah, we did talk about this earlier, Free Kill. Appreciate the 10. Absolutely. As people can bet on everything, they will. Vandalay for 2 says, people bet on whether this stream is going to be on time or not. Usually it's good money to have it not on time. Vandalay for 2 says, what are the odds we capture Friedrichsen? Matt Friedrichsen? Is this a reference that's going over my head? We might be doing a regime change in Iran as we speak. Or Iran's doing regime change in Iran as we speak.
Yeah, what's new?
Yeah. Let me see. Here's a vid of the car. Yeah, so there is one bullet on the front windshield. Somebody sent me the actual photo of it here. Thank you, Pawsped. Appreciate that, sir. I'll put it here for you guys to see. But you can see the bullet hole in the front windshield, and then 2 through the gap in the window. That's where I see the holes. So 1 through the front windshield, 2 through the side. Thank you, Vandalay. Appreciate that, sir. Central Stands Defense says every cop worth their salt knows you do not stand in front or behind of cars that are not immobilized or pinned. Justified, sure. Officer created jeopardy, also, yes. Well, I think there is some takeaways to be had on all sides from this. Thank you, Ben. Appreciate that. Hope you're having a good, safe night tonight. You're on the other side of this nonsense. Modern Frontier Project for 5 says, be a woman and don't scream. Challenge impossible. Yeah, it feels like that's their trump card is like minor inconvenience. Have you tried screaming? Lightspore for 2 says fog going manic seeing the roll 1 on his career. Those are letters and numbers that are above my pay grade, sir. Thank you, Lightspore. Go ahead.
He's talking about forward operations.
Right, but I don't know what's a roll 1. Again, that might have been really funny to a really select group of people. It ain't me though. Kim Jong-un, Thick Girl Enjoy for 2 says, look at the post pics I sent you on X. I did. Thank you, Kim. Mountain Cave Dweller for 5 says, W fit Christmas today for all Orthodox Christians. True. Merry Christmas, because you go off of the Gregorian calendar, right? Or sorry, on the Julian calendar. Duh. So I've been at church all day. Merry Christmas and Christ is born. Merry Christmas to you and to all the other Orthodox bros in the chat right now. Thank you, Mountain Cave Dweller. 2 Jazz for 2 says, women drivers. Am I right? I feel like we need common sense women driver license control. I feel like that's just a policy that everybody should get on board with. It's common sense. It's in the name. Dick's Beater for 2 says, after the shot and crash, man, that's dark, dude. Ma'am, you can't park there. You can't park there. No Home for 2 says, now I like sugar and I like tea, but I don't like, I see. Thank you, No Home. Modern Frontier Project for 2 says, Borat voice, my wife, great success. Kim Jong-un for 5 says, the ice had previously been dragged during another operation and wounded. ICE at this point are pretty used to being harassed and attacked. That does not mean that it is a good idea to attempt to get in their way. In fact, I would recommend that is a very, very bad idea. Do not do that. Do not, again, it's really simple rule. Do not attempt to run somebody over with your vehicle, please. Lightsport for 5 says, imagine your significant other gets vented in front of you and you have this Napa as the first person to console you. That is a picture of the life you have chosen to live. All right? That is a necessary consequence of your own actions.
So new to the area that you don't know anybody.
Yeah, what are you even doing here? You're not from this area, defending people you don't know that don't like you. Huge Ass for 2 says, that's crazy. Jan, don't care. Ah, huge ass. Have some care. Polly B for 5 says, you only unlock theory of mind, empathy, and sympathy with a minimum of 90 stat points apportioned to IQ. Rare for orc class builds. You're not wrong. All right. It just seems like some people have less empathy to others. All right. Have less care or understanding of the consequences of their actions. Maybe their high time preference as well. Yeah, it just seems like that is the case. Lightsport for 2 says, did we get the split time on his bill, Joe? Well, it was only 3 rounds and it was like 0.5 splits. They weren't that fast. Third one was pretty fast.
For riding ahead of a car, that was pretty quick.
Again, he managed to not interact with anybody else, none of his ICE agents or bystanders. So that's a win as far as policing goes. J. Lewis for 10 says, I'd be interested to see her and her wife's post history. These types are always scrolling. Pray for the kids. Pray for the kids. Well, I would find it very ironic if either of them celebrated the death of Charlie Kirk. I would find that quite ironic. Thank you, J. Lewis. And, cynical me might say that there's a high possibility of that being the case.
Did we look into see what specifically what her husband had passed away from?
No, I mean, you can Google the comedian. I have the article pulled up. Noob Crastinator over on Ko-Fi says, now I am late and gay, but the latter maybe because of the nose. Did go to church for the first time ever tonight, though, so thanks to everyone for the encouragement. I'm glad to hear that, Noob Crastinator. God bless and Godspeed out there, good sir. Ko-Fi that's, well, I mean, going to church, right? So I mean, he is our top Semitic donator, so it's possible that he might have gone to synagogues before, but not to a church before. So that is very good to hear. I'm very, very happy to hear that, sir.
That's awesome.
Over here on Ko-Fi, Tarkai says, I think the actions of both the driver and the ICE agents were them carrying through with planned reactions. It happened so fast, I don't think either were actively thinking beyond the initial moves. Yeah, I would be willing to grant that the woman did not know exactly what she was doing, because women are kind of stupid sometimes. And that she may not have intentionally ran over the ICE agent. She was simply thinking, get out of here. I don't want to go to jail. I wanted to harass ICE agents. I didn't want to go to jail, though.
Yeah,
but again, regardless of all of that, you have to take accountability, which is, again, challenge level impossible for these people. Say that, no, it was your own actions that resulted in this. Justice for lesbian drivers over on Ko-Fi says, what kind of country is this? Can't be a lesbo and run an ICE agent over and not have consequences? This is a heckin' fascism. True. Heckin' fascism. Listen, I strive for a world where lesbians can have their weed farms and their trans children and run over ICE agents at will because I'm a common sense libertarian. Director over on Ko-Fi says, John, you made my day yesterday. Also, I vote for the Giga Chad voice on Friday's intro. Well, fair enough. The dollar bills do speak. Giga Chad on Friday's intro. Pauly B says, much as these ICE raids are needed, not going to lie, we're going about this the wrong way. Because of the boomerism baked into the pie, the United States doesn't exist. These raids should clear out blue cities in red states, fortify, build trenches, let blue America fall. You know, there is an alternative solution here. If we simply just board them all up in their own cities and don't allow them to interact or have federal taxes or state taxes, right? If we cut off the money, right? That's kind of the joke, right? If you cut off the welfare state to these places, like, they will eat each other. It is essentially bribing violent people to not be violent. That is our entire welfare system, is based upon bribing violent animals to not do that thing. And if we turned that off, they would eat each other. Hey, John, go ahead.
Did you ever read into what George Washington said about sending bribes to the what was essentially the Arab pirates around the coast of Tripoli?
I did not. Go for
it. He was basically tired of paying tribute to them to keep them from boarding the ships and raiding all of the cargo and all of that. So he asked for basically the first Navy to go after these guys. He said, no, I would rather take the fight to them and burn them out versus let them take our stuff.
Yeah. Last one on Ko-Fi. Deer Hunter for a whopping, sorry, let me get the number right. A insanely generous $50 over on Ko-Fi. Do I have a new clip for you? I don't have a new clip, but I mean, I can do this one.
Shut the hell up, bitch.
Deer Hunter says, hey, John, finally back to it after a 2-week vacation. Well, I hope your vacation went quite well, Deer Hunter. Sorry, didn't have the time to pop in for any of the lives. Been catching up on the VODs at work. Well, hey, I'm glad to provide some entertainment. Glad to see everyone had a very Merry Christmas, or Xmas, which is secretly based, and a safe and fun New Year. Unfortunately, can't stay, but here's to another fantastic year. God bless. Well, God bless you, Deer Hunter, and Godspeed out there. Hope you're having a good time at work tomorrow when you're listening to this, man. Huge ass over on Ko-Fi says, Durr, I'm a retard that tried to stop ICE. Durr, I'm an effing retarded and I got killed for my attempted murder. Durr. A couple such cases. Ko-Fi supporter over on Ko-Fi says, the videos of anti-ICE protests are making me feel very tired. I'm doing tires and oil changes with a fever, and illegals and fraudster light bulbs are getting banged from the states. At what point can we encourage Trump to become the fascist the left thinks he is? It's like, I do wish that our politicians were as based as the left makes them seem, right? As they cry that they are, but it's simply not true. We actually do not have that ability, right? So they're gonna make it seem like you're about to deport every single illegal that's ever in the country, and we're gonna, like, you know, get rid of 100 million people. And the reality is, like, we only have 300,000 deportations this year, and they claim 2 million self-deportations. They claim that. I don't know how to verify that number, but fair enough. All right, let's get on to some gun stuff. EOTech. I know everybody's like, no, we want more politics. We want more world events. No, gun stuff. This is a gun channel. Get used to it, bros.
EOTech, historically known for its high-tech
Shoot. Totally not a gun YouTube. Don't worry about it.
Graphic technology is now recognized as the leader in super short variable powered
This is actually interesting because I made a video recently. What was it? The Trichicon slow march to irrelevance. People were like, oh, you could say the same thing about EOTech, right? It's like, maybe, but EOTech's they've been trying a few things. So they're coming out with the new EOTech HD, whatever they're going to call it, EXPS HD or something like that. They got the shorty scopes. They got decent long range scopes. They have decent LPVOs, and they have like mediocre red dots. I'm sure they're working on all of it. So they are attempting to branch out. They're trying to stave that off. They're moving more than Trichicon is. So I don't think EOTech is quite the same as Trichicon in that regard. You were going to say something, Richard?
Oh, the EOTech is voodoo.
Moon Man, read the super chats. I hate gun stuff. No, I know. It's so funny. Half the audience is like, can you just read super chats? Can you just be here and talk to us? It's like I'm your dad or something, or your emotional support streamer. That's what I am to some of you guys. Cog is fine. No changes needed. Diopter enters the chat. Red dot mounting enters the chat. Sure. Yes, that's the thing. You don't have to change anything optically about the any of the ACOGs, right? The 3.5x, the 4x, just leave them. They're fine. They're perfect. But if you update the red dot mounting to make it better, to make it lower, right? More appropriate for a modern audience, okay? And if you just add a diopter to the back end, so for people who have weird eyes, so the reticles look nice, so they can actually take advantage of that good glass. All right, that's all we need. It's like 2 little things, okay? If you could do 2 tiny little updates in the last 30 years, okay? All right, Trichicon, 2 things. 2 things. TA02 is perfect. Again, the red dot mounting could be improved, and they could add a diopter for almost no cost. No optical changes, right? Leave it the same, all right? Leave it the same.
Rifle scopes. Feature-rich rifle scopes that provide outstanding performance.
We do got to be careful here on some of these.
Durability and accuracy, but in a ridiculously short package.
I don't know about you guys, but when I look at that, it's got some girth to it, all right? Got some girth to it. I don't know if that's ridiculously short. I think you might be overestimating there.
Well, they did it again with the new Voodoo.
Also, do they all just use the same like 2004 movie intro guys or movie trailer guys?
So there's like 3 or 4 guys that do the movie trailers and stuff like this, and they're very prevalent.
4-12 by 36 rifle scope.
So the mounting for the guys who say, oh, that mount looks weird. It's a mini ACOG. So any mount you want that's out there, they make 100 different mounts for it. It's cool though. It's a 4-12, so it's a little bit more SPR-ish, I guess you could say. But one of the big issues with the 3-9 for me is that the reticle is terrible. So like 3-9 is a good magnification range. It'll do just about all the things you want it to do. 4-12 is more SPR-ish, right? With a very short body and a relatively small objective. So I mean, you're balancing a lot of things. But the reticle has to be good, okay?
The scope body is constructed of aircraft-grade aluminum to be a compact, lightweight, but still incredibly durable package that is fog, water, and shock resistant.
Okay, these are good graphics. Sorry, I can make this full screen. So I'm actually going to congratulate EOTech on... I like it when they put some effort, okay, into their marketing materials. This looks good.
Well, they did it again with the new Voodoo 4-12 by 36 rifle scope. The scope body is constructed of aircraft-grade aluminum to be a compact, lightweight, but still incredibly durable package that is fog, water, and shock resistant. The wide power band on the eyepiece makes transitioning from low to high magnification quick and easy, and the substantial BOSS feature makes it even faster. The adjustable...
Sorry, let me see the reticle again. Well, that's not great footage because, again, I hate playing the game of where the F is my reticle. I hate playing that game. So I would not have used this shot for marketing materials. If I'm looking at this like the reticle is fuzzy and obscure, like I would not use this.
Yeah, it looks
even
like
faster.
Good.
Looks like a weird quadrant circle dot.
Well, I'm fine with like the segmented circle that's illuminated to give you like a bigger, fast aiming picture. And then when you zoom in, because I imagine it's first focal plane, I'm not sure, but I imagine it's first focal plane, you get the more, fine, what's the right word? Effects in the reticle, right?
The adjustable diopter located at the rear of the optic allows for precise focus for each individual's vision.
Nope. A mission save the abuela. Interdict with the mamacita.
The Voodoo 4-12 measures in at only 7.1 inches long, making this scope ideal for short rifle systems with limited rails or to combine with clip-on night vision or thermal optics. Unlike the Voodoo 3-9 predecessor, the 4-12 incorporates a first focal plane design.
There we go.
In FFP scopes, the reticle is positioned at the front of the scope's optical system, causing the reticle to appear to grow or shrink with.
Okay. All right, so we have a 1x1 mil grid. We have a floating, looks like a 1 mil dot, maybe a little bit less than 1 mil, hopefully. And then segmented circle. I don't hate it. I think that's fine. 1x1 mil grid, very effective. Something I'm very used to using. I like mils, so yeah.
The magnification. This means that the subtensions of the reticle remain proportional to the target image, regardless of the magnification setting. This is preferred by professional users for long-range shooting and situations where quick adjustments are needed. A rotary dial located on the left side of the optic provides an illuminated reticle with 10 brightness settings to help in dusk.
Okay, why weren't they using that brightness setting?
And dawn lighting conditions.
Okay, that's way better because they actually, very few scopes do this. Very few scopes actually illuminate all of your mil grid. Most of the time you only get like maybe the center dot and then the circle, but the mil grid itself is not illuminated. So that is actually a nice feature. That is, yeah, the tree is lit, as they say. The tree is lit. So I like that. Okay, that looks good. Should have been using that brightness setting on the earlier footage. Hold up. Yeah, all right. All right. Yeah. See, now you're talking.
Between each brightness setting is an off position, making it quick and easy to dial to your favorite setting. A CR2032 battery is located next to the rotary dial.
All right, Thor, calm down there, Zeus, with the effects. All right. They gave you a budget. Doesn't mean you have to spend it all, bro.
Making it quick and easy to dial to your favorite setting. A CR2032 battery is located next.
Josh, how is a 1x1 mil grid too busy? A 1x1 mil grid is like the most basic reticle possible. Like there are reticles with a 1/2x1/2 mil grid, which is obviously much more busy, but a 1x1 mil grid is just, it's normal. It's like the standard. So I don't know how if you get less than 1x1 mil grid, there's not enough information there. Like if you want to do a duplex reticle, like just hash marks, like I don't know how you get less busy than a 1x1 mil grid for an SPR style scope or something, or a GPR style scope.
To the rotary dial, providing roughly 300 hours of operation. The 4-12 sports the same XC high-density, low-dispersion multi-coated glass as other Voodoo optics, providing excellent light transmission and scene clarity. The scope's turrets offer 1/10 mil adjustments and are both capped to protect from inclement weather or inadvertent adjustments. And once the scope is zeroed, the turrets can quickly be reset to zero. To minimize the overall length, EOTech reduced the tube area typically used for mounting rings. Instead, a machined interface located at the bottom of the scope will adapt to the included EOTech mount or any aftermarket mini ACOG mounts and mount directly on a mill standard rail. For those wanting a non-magnified solution, EOTech offers an optional ring mount that can be attached to the slim.
Yeah, see, I mean, I like the idea of this package, right? Which is why I like the idea of the original 3-9. This right here. I am going to look it up on their website, though, because I do want to know the weight. EOTech 4-12. Show me the weight. I want just the specs, please. Shoot. Are you going to have it on your website, EOTech? Please have it on your website. Yes, I'm over 18, EOTech. Dude, I hate that. Come on, bro. Hybrid sights? Is it a hybrid? No. Rifle scopes. Here it is, 3-9. They don't have a listing for their 4-12 yet, so I unfortunately don't have all the specs for it. I would like to know the weight. 17 ounces. I mean, what was the 3-9? Actually, well, let me look at the 3-9. What was the 3-9? The 3 to 9 was 16 ounces. The 3 to 9 was 16 ounces. So DM's guess of 17 for the slightly bigger objective lens, probably accurate. Somewhere between 17 and 20 ounces, I would guess. 6-7 ounces, really? Ban this man.
Front tube section to mount an E-Flex. It can be positioned at the top or at 45-degree offsets to give you immediate transitions for close or moving targets. Short and sweet, but packed with features and performance. The Voodoo 4-12 by 36 super short rifle scope.
12 by 36, which is a 3mm exit pupil, which is actually not that big. Let's listen to the rest of this.
Might just be the most versatile rifle scope on the market. To learn more about this or any other EOTech product, visit eotechinc.com.
Big capability, zero compromise, available Q2. You said it's on the site? They don't have a link in the description. They have EOTech. Let me click on this link. Oh, okay. No, it does take it to it. Check it out. Here we go. Don't show me a price. $1,200, which is, slightly about what? $200 more expensive than the standard model. So, okay. So yeah, you were right. So here it is. 4-12 first focal plane, 7 inches long, 17 ounces, 16.9 roughly. Yeah. So yeah, 36mm objective, made in Japan. I think that's standard to the first one. Let's see here. Field of view 4x at 28 feet is actually pretty good. Pretty good magnification or field of view, sorry, at 4x. So that's nice. Nice to see. 12x obviously goes down a little bit. But yeah, that's not bad. That's roughly 120 feet, 1x at 100 yards. So it's in a very good category. So 12 hundo for that bad boy. Yeah, that's not bad. I think people will be excited for that as a addition to that lineup. Oh, I just got jump scared by that cosplay group. Yeah, so I think people like this. I think you guys like it. I think it's a good option. Could be a good option, right? Because it's kind of like the 3 to 9 had drawbacks. The reticle wasn't good. It was second focal plane. It kind of didn't do all the things you wanted it to do. So it's in a bit of a no man's land. But 4-12 with a better reticle, first focal plane, basically the same weight. Put it on a 193 mount. No. Yeah, probably $9.99 on sale, on a really good sale for that. But yeah, not a bad addition to the lineup. Okay, not saying that that's a good option for everybody, but not a bad addition to the EOTech lineup. I think that's fair. All right. Well, they're not the only ones with some new gun stuff. I know you guys are really upset. You're like, no, more drama, please. Some of you guys are gonna love this. Not me though, dude. This is for PDW retards. I mean nerds. All right. This is for some of you PDW tards out there. All right. So the ARO Evo from Haroshan, from our friends over at the PLA, and the Ames Dual. Now, what these are is like, welcome back, EO lad. You don't want to find one on the secondhand market from EOTech? Well, you can buy it from your friends down the road. Yeah, they should actually just fix the raid. That's what they should do. But we're going to get a lot of new Holosun optics at SHOT Show. Guaranteed. I know of like 3 more than this that are coming out. Now, what these are is, so they come with built-in IR and Viz lasers. What that means is that if you have a super shorty build, you can hook one of these up to a tape switch with like a Surefire Vampire or any sort of IR white light dual head, right? And you can have a insanely small package. Most of you already relate to this. You can have an insanely small package and get white light, IR illuminator, IR laser capability at your fingertips. Yeah. It's weird. Okay, so the next evolution of the ARO Evo is here. Visible and IR lasers built into the housing, giving maximum performance for day or night. And then the Ames Dual. The Holosun Ames Reimagined, now featuring both visible and IR lasers built directly into the housing for seamless day and night performance. They're slowly moving their way to the... What's that optic that does everything? Is it the Boss? It's like that optic that has IR laser, IR illuminator, red dot, plus vis laser, plus, ballistic calculator, whatever it is. It's like literally everything in one optic, which again, when you're limited on rail space, that can be kind of cool. All right, that can be kind of cool. So if you only have space for a red dot and a white light, like on a lot of these PDWs, you can do that. Hook them up to a tape switch, because you can see they both have tape switch ports. Hook them both up to a tape switch. And now you have IR illuminator, IR laser in a very small, very compact package. That's right, the Wilcox Boss XE. Yes, the Amazon 12-in-1. Yeah, it's not for me. All right, it's not for me, because like these red dots, I think they're both fine. The ARO is a decent dot. The Ames is a good dot. Okay, I have an Ames on the Mark 1 behind me right now. I think they're good. Okay, however, for me, I don't need to combo them together with other inferior products to have a janky solution for a PDW. The only time that these make any sort of sense is on a tiny PDW, which again, brass facts, raging boner right now. Okay. Holosun shampoo and conditioner. Hey, true. And toothpaste. Don't forget, it's also toothpaste. But that's the thing, the ARO and the Ames, and I haven't had as much experience with the ARO, but the Ames is good for night vision performance. So, I mean, it gives you a passive option as well as an active option. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, and a car wax, true, Sean Weiland. Also a car wax. Yeah, just and oil, honestly, at that point too. What was the Israeli Mars optic? Yeah, I think there was another one of those where it had a built-in laser as well, for sure. My platoon had one in 05. This isn't a new concept of stacking these together. Again, the EOTech EOLAD was 2 decades ago, almost, roughly. Jay Lewis says, I recently got night vision goggles. I'm interested in around, very, very much so. In the ARO, I think around was probably just a typo there, or autocorrect for you. But yeah, the ARO, for sure. Yeah, for a cheap dot, it's one of those options where you're like, it actually has really good performance for a cheap dot, huh? Well, might be worth a shot. Based mic for life, we literally just watched that video. I think it's a good addition to that lineup. I'm still not sure if it's the optic for everybody. I like that it's relatively small, right? 17 ounces is lightweight for a 12x optic. Seems to have a good enough reticle, 1x1 mil grid, perfectly fine for me. Yeah, seems to have, the features that you would want. It's going to come down to eye box, eye relief. Can you actually use the thing, right? Because 12x magnification in a package that small, pretty impressive. So I'd be interested to see how that glass quality actually is at 12x. And if I remember correctly, it doesn't have parallax. So it is 12x, but no parallax on that EOTech. So, Ryan Vargas, yes, yeah, you might be a little late here. We spent about an hour and 20 minutes on the Minneapolis speed bump incident. But I don't know. I can leak this, I think, but we are getting, you like your big windowed dots. We're getting even bigger windowed Holosuns this year, okay? So if you like your Ames, we're getting more of those. If you like your comps, you're getting even bigger ones. If you like your AROs, congratulations, we're getting even bigger ones. 2026 is the year of the supersized dot. I'm getting even bigger ones, okay? You like big dots? Well, good news. I got big dots, and not big dots is the type of fat Indians at your local grocery store or whatever it might be. All right. Now, maybe if Vortex, actually, somebody just reminded me that Vortex exists and they have a holographic. Maybe they could come out with an AMG that actually works. Maybe they could do that. Maybe that's their 2026 option. You know what? We're going to bring out an optic to market that actually works and does what we say it does. Oh, thanks. Appreciate that. All right. Well, we're back to world politics, okay? You guys like Greenland? We've had great success with Venezuela. But we're moving on to bigger. Better things, okay? The year is 40,999. Marco Rubio conjointly holds the titles of Master of the Adeptus Administratum, Ecclesiarch of the Adeptus Ministorum, Representative of the Inquisition, Grand Provost Marshal of the Adeptus Arbitus. I do love the memes, even though Marco Rubio is just a product of Con Inc. and nothing special in any way, shape, or form, right? I first paid attention to politics in 2016, so watching him through that election cycle and up to 2025, he really hasn't changed much, right? He's just another one of the guys. He's just another one of the guys, all right? But I do think the memes are funny, okay? The memes can still be funny while we realize that they're undertones of cringe. But Rubio will be meeting with the Danes next week as Trump administration warns Greenland again. I don't know if they're warning Greenland, but they're saying, hey, all 50,000 of you, we should, you guys should work for us now. We should own you for like the next 99 years for national security, okay? We are expanding the American Imperium, and Greenland looks mighty appetizing. I think it should be everything, okay? So Canada, of course, Greenland, of course, and Central America down to the Panama Canal at a minimum. And I think that's conservative, okay? Central America down to the Panama Canal. It is the American hemisphere from now on. All right? And no, they don't get voting rights. We just take their stuff. Of course. Yeah, so he's going to be meeting with the Danes next week. So 2026 could be wild. Okay, we could actually have World War III, American Imperium, South American War going on at the same time. It could all be happening in 2026. Okay. Secretary of State Marco Rubio said Wednesday that he planned to discuss a U.S. acquisition of Greenland with Danish officials next week, as the White House again asserted that President Donald Trump's preference would be to acquire. That is funny. I would prefer to acquire this through negotiation, which, you know, does imply that there could be alternative means of acquiring a large chunk of land. But Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt held out the possibility of a military takeover should diplomatic efforts fail, and likened Trump's approach to how he dealt with Iran and Venezuela, both of which he opted to attack after negotiations faltered. Look at Venezuela. He tried ardently to strike a good deal with Nicolas Maduro, and he told him, I will use the United States military if you do not take such a deal, and you will not like it. Now, usually Trump is all bark and no bite. However, with the Nicolas Maduro situation, with Venezuela, that is one of those areas where, very true to his word, and perhaps one of the most flawless operations in recent memory, right? And the memes are glorious about it, okay? Regardless of the other geopolitical implications of who else is going to be running Venezuela and who we're really doing these things for, all right? And look what happened, Leavitt said. He tried to have a serious interest in the deal with the Iranian regime with respect to their nuclear capabilities, and so Operation Midnight Hammer happened. That the White House makes no distinction between two longtime adversaries openly hostile to the United States with a Democratic ally and a NATO member stands to only deepen the fear inside Europe that Trump could break the decades-old alliance. Now, what is funny to me is somebody postulated this to me, is that there's only 50,000 people in Greenland, 50,000 of them, right? There's not many. So I argue this, or this was postulated to me. I'm stealing this argument. We propose that we buy Greenland for $50 billion. And we give each one of their citizens $1 million. We write them a check, every single one of them, for $1 million. And we say, thank you. Your land are ours now. $50 billion for Greenland? I mean, it's huge. And it is also like strategically important to us. So I say, yeah, Greenland should be ours when you think about it. And yeah, we'll give them $50 billion. It's all funny money anyways. I mean, $50 billion is like, what? A couple years of Somalians in your country? It's not that much, okay? It's not that much in the grand scheme of things. We're going to give every single citizen of Greenland $1 million. And you can even stay here, okay? But you just listen to us now, okay? This is a not even an aggressive takeover, okay? Think of it like a buyout. Think of it like a government buyout. You know, we do corporate buyouts, okay? But now we're doing a government buyout, okay? We're now your new leadership, all right? And you're going to be rich. Everybody's going to be rich beyond your wildest dreams. And we're just going to put in a couple bases and nuclear deterrent sites in Greenland, all right? That's all. Yeah, 50 billion. Who cares? For Greenland? Yeah, I'll take that deal. I'll take that deal. Most people would. And yeah, most people would like the Greenland women, actually, specifically. Odd how that works out. Yeah, so that is one move that's possible. Where do we want to go to this? I thought I had another thing on Marco Rubio. I think there's got to be another meme that I had saved up for Marco. Maybe I did. Nope, I have that picture. Nope, I think that was it. Okay, fine. We're moving on. No more Marco. Greenland, though, could be a good acquisition, okay? That would be another huge win for Trump in 2026, all right? He's not our guy necessarily, but I mean, the moves, okay? The moves he's making. It's like it's 2016 again. Now, have you seen this, Richard? NYC's Maori Mam Dammy's tenant director, Sia Weaver, will transition from treating property as an individual good to a collective good. Whites especially will be impacted. Now, a lot of you people might be like, oh, this is just another self-hating white person. Not white, right? So, I mean, white women get a bad rap, okay? There's another group of people that tries to blend in, all right, and tries to pass off. White passing, you could call them, okay? That's this person, Sia Weaver.
Reality is that for centuries we've really treated property as an individualized good and not a collective good, and we are going to transitioning to treating it as a collective good and towards a model of shared equity will require that we think about it differently, and it will mean that families, especially white families, but some POC families who are homeowners as well, are going to have a different relationship to property than
white people specifically. I really want to take your stuff and give it to more brown people. That's really it. The places where you've lived and grown your families. Well, we hate your families as well, of course, but we would like to take that from you and really re-envision it as a public good, which means a state good, which means given to the people that we like, and we no longer like you, white people. And they're very open about it. Very, very open about their disdain for you. Now, of course, when you say something so stupid, so publicly, so brazen, so confidently, people are going to, just look up a couple things and try and see what they can find out about you. Because that's not a kosher thing to say, okay? At least it shouldn't be. I think people are fed up of being treated like that. A few months ago, I dug into C. Weaver's Twitter history because she was Mom Dami's housing advisor. I had a hunch she might get a position on his team. Well, she did, and she deleted her X account accordingly. However, I took some screenshots. Let's dig in. There is no such thing as a good gentrifier. Only people who are actively working on projects to dismantle white supremacy and capitalism, and people who aren't. So yes, owning property is owning property is white supremacist, all right? Having families, don't you know, is also white supremacist. Working out is also white supremacy. Going to church is white supremacy. You keep making this white supremacy thing sound so good. Sound like something to ascribe to. Sounds like something to believe in. Like you keep making it seem attractive, okay? You understand you're doing that. I didn't do that. I didn't say that, right? But you make it seem really attractive when you line it out like that, buddy. I mean, it goes on. So public housing for everyone, rent control and public housing for everyone, massive government interventions to solve gentrification, aka taking by force. Public housing for everybody. Happy Mother's Day, by the way. Rent control and public housing for everyone, you guys. Massive government interventions to solve gentrification, aka we take your stuff and we give it to other people that we think are more deserving than you, white families. Now, she says that, of course, the great irony of these liars, parasites, certain other slurs you could throw in there, of course. Mom, Zoran Mamdami's aide, who said owning a home fuels white supremacy, has a $1.6 million house in Tennessee. Yes. So the woman on the right who believes that owning a home is white supremacy or perpetuates white supremacy, who's Jewish, by the way, who's not white, she's Jewish. Of course, she grew up in a mansion worth millions of dollars as she advocates for taking white families' homes from them. Because having a home, owning things is heckin' white supremacy. You'll own nothing, Goy, and you'll be happy about it or something like that. I forget what they said. A $1.6 million home in Tennessee. Is Tennessee an expensive place to live? Well, I don't know if that house even pictured is the house specifically, but the headline is correct. A $1.6 million house. That's what it was praised at. Maybe that's just the crazy the housing market is, how bad it is right now. But of course, all it takes is a little bit of bullying for these people to absolutely fold, which is beautiful in a way, right? And this happens on the quote unquote right and left as well, like Vivek Ramaswamy. Bully him off of Twitter. You can bully Tim Walz into giving up his political candidacy, right, in Minneapolis. And you could just bully these retards as well, okay? And I think you're justified in doing so. If these people advocate for the stealing of your homes, of the removal of your rights, of the destruction of your family and of your nation, I think it is completely justified to bully them. And by bully them, I just point out their own hypocrisy, point out how their positions are evil, point out how they are incorrect. These are public servants. They are supposed to be, right, responsible to us. And it is our job to inform them of such things. NYC mayoral aide who says whites owning homes is racist sobs when asked about mother's $1.4 million Craftsman house. Tears of hypocrisy. Just bully them. Just bully them. Point it out. Never let them live it down. Shun them. Point at them. Call them silly, funny little names, whatever it might be. But these people's hypocrisy and evil should be pointed out at every turn. She's going to pull the Holocaust. Me mum was a homeowner. Me mum died as a homeowner. Oh, that's tragic. Classic from Jared Taylor here. Sia also says that this country built wealth for white people through genocide, slavery, stolen land, and labor. White supremacy built the North and South. White supremacy, you say? America must impoverish the white middle class and elect no more white men. Mom Danny, says that he stands by her. Of course he does, right? Because they are ethnically aligned. They are culturally aligned. They are morally aligned because they are evil, disgusting people, right? And this is the type of people that you're up against. They hate you and they want to slowly and legally remove all of your rights, your ownership, whatever it might be, your ability to have a family, your ability to provide for future generations, of course, your ability to have any sort of a strong moral foundation, both as individuals and as a nation, of course. They want to undermine and subvert all of that. And it kind of makes sense, right? When you look a little further into what Mom Dami actually wants, right? South Africa is the model for New York. They're saying the quiet part out loud, right? They hate you. They hate you not based upon the content of your character, although that is part of it, but also based upon what you represent, right? They openly advocate it, right? So the murder of white people in South Africa, that's a model for New York. The thievery, the appropriation from these people that actually built the country, actually built New York in this case, right? They want to take it from you. They want to reshape it in their image, which of course will be another third world horrifying place to live, as is modern day South Africa, right? Where 2% of the people pay 90% of the taxes, where the top 0.1% has 50% of the wealth. It's the most unequal country in the world. And it's all built upon, at one point, if you're South Africans and you're an actual African, it's not white people, okay? But if you're black South Africans and you're begging white people to come back because you can't manage the farms that you stole from them, I say you reap what you sow, which in this case is nothing, and you starve. And the same thing will happen in New York, of course, as always happens. They'll destroy it, they'll make it a crap hole, and then they'll wonder why. Why is everything so bad? It used to be better. It didn't used to be like this. Why is it like this now? What happened? Why did all these people flee? We should not allow them to flee. When they flee, we should tax them when they flee. Like, isn't that California? Don't they have like a leaving tax? When you leave California, they tax you one more time. It's like, here's a punishment for trying to flee California. Yeah, that guy Kyle says NYC is infested with rats. Metaphorically and literally as well. Both. It's a both and situation. Jersey does too. That makes sense. Yeah. Yeah, never forget Rhodesia. And that's what they want. Remember, that's the model. That's the goal. The goal is to replace you within your own country and then build upon its ashes, which of course they won't. They can't. They don't have the ability to do so. Again, it's hard to do when you only have so many points to put into your RPG orc build, and you need like 100 points into the intelligence, and you just don't have enough points left over. It just happens. Cicero for 5 says either way they are psycho, paid, or both. Al Sharpton coming out with the she didn't hit anyone, then the vid shows otherwise. The liars are evil. Well, you have to realize that the truth does not matter to these people. Like, they can see something and tell you with a straight face, lie to your face with a straight face, and believe the lie themselves, which is a special kind of deluded. So yeah, Al Sharpton, again, probably an 80 IQ build at best, right? And he's just a mouthpiece. He's just a puppet. He's a liar and a charlatan, and that's all he's ever been. Thank you, Cicero. Black Flag for 5 says, my man George Groyd got Cheeto dusted. Also, I appreciate the Pantera title reference. Getchapul, yes, a vulgar display of power. Thank you, Black Flag. Pauly B for 5 says, Charlie don't surf and the American pavement ape don't riot in winter. Yes, but we'll see if they can use this to their means, right? Or to their goals. Because listen, all right, never let a tragedy go to waste. Thank you, Pauly. Central Sands Defense banned again for 5 says, at this point, just abandon the cities, let them battle royale it out themselves. I think that is an option, right? I feel bad for the people that live in these cities, of course, but I mean, come on, you got to see the signs and move along. I mean, we've been saying that for decades. Todd Dogs for 2 says, if you supported Venezuela, don't question ICE raids. Are you saying if we supported the Venezuelan raid, don't question ICE raids? I think you're mixing up the groups there, or at least I'm misinterpreting that. But thank you, Todd Dogs. Thank you for the 2. Bear Skull for 5 says, this is all by design. Democrats encourage civil unrest. Conservatives install complete federal control, and the only people that win are Jews. Democrats encourage civil unrest and and conservatives install complete federal control. Yeah, but you think if conservatives were like just chomping at the bit to actually take control and do something, then you think they would have used any opportunity to do so. I think it's a mixture of evil and incompetency, and it's supposed to lead through incompetency and through inaction to the sort of social unrest. Right. And I think you're going to see more of it. So I don't think there's like a conservative shadow government just waiting to take power, right? That's like meme culture stuff that we heard in like 2019, right? When Trump lost his second election. Lost his second election, right? Very free and very fair, I'm sure. But that you know, oh, they're gonna cross the Rubicon and take over. We're just waiting for a conservative Jewry to take over this country. It's about to happen any day now. Chud McGill for 2 says, my brother bought a Q fix. How do I tell him? He already knows he's gay. You don't need to tell him. He knows. He knows he's gay. Thank you, Chud. Hope you're having a good night, man. Chud for 2 says, it's been too long, Richard Gassy. Thank you, Chud. Appreciate that, sir. Bullshark. Richard, are you actually here?
Yes, sir.
Oh, there you go. All right. Bullshark for 10 says, certain people can only hear in skin color. P.S. Get that watch. Fine, I'll get a Casio G-Shock. All right. That's the flex, right? That's the flexy one. Casio G-Shock. Thank you, Bullshark. Moonman for 2 says regime change. Oy vey, the CIA is very busy. They've had a busy year. Okay, they've been making some moves. All right, I think Iran might be next. CIA funded, fomented unrest, riots in the streets. They had a big riot yesterday. Allegedly, like protesters like took over a town in Iran yesterday. So, or a city yesterday. So we'll see how it's going. And apparently now there's assassinations happening on the street, which we're about to get into. Thank you, Moonman. You're going to enjoy the footage. I guarantee you, Moonman. Zanyco for 5 says, pull up just sent on IG chat. Remember who delivered when Jake wouldn't. Yeah, but I mean, that's like everybody, dude. I mean, that's not narrowing it down at all. Also, there's like a million messages that I have, guys. So you're forcing me to like cycle through DMs on stream. It's like making me do math on stream. Don't do it. Moonman for 5 says, I'm simply out here disappointed to hear that only one person involved is no longer with us. So far, Moonman. Optimism. Okay. Where is that Norm Macdonald clip? Which one? The commie gobbledygook, the calling people faggots. You got to be more specific. I don't have any actually Norm clips in my clips, but I'll give you this one because I know you like it.
You don't get to ask those questions. What's wrong with you, Mom? Why are you so scared?
Beautiful clip. I'm sure you all enjoyed that. Thank you, Moonman. Lightsport for 2 says, nah, VTuber voice and call me a good boy on Friday. Well, the thing is, Director gave me $10 and you only gave me 2, Lightsport. Although you do donate a lot, so maybe both. ZH for 5 says the ACOG should have a lever like the LCAN for adjustable magnification. Well, I think if they came out with a variable ACOG, not the VCOG, okay, which is just an LPVO with a different body, but if they came out with an ACOG style optic that had dual magnifications, I think that could be interesting, right? Trijicon should look into that. Thank you, sir. Moonman for 5 says ZH is going to be past tense for being Nigerberg. Oh, all right. Fair enough. Moonman says no gay Canadian optics here for our Trigicons. Thank you for that. Mark for 2 says PA 4-16 is the same form factor for focal plane and a lot less, but I think it's not the same form factor. It is short, but it is not the same form factor as that 4-12. And I guarantee you it's at least an extra 4 to 6 ounces. I could be corrected on that, but I'm pretty sure it's much bigger than 7 inches and much heavier than 17 ounces. But the price is good. Sheepherder for 5 says, just got here. Why is Focus Trip dressed like he's going to perform a hostile takeover of a company? That's just what I get up to on the weekends, okay? Relax. Someday. I got work to do. ZH for 5 says, Moonman, what did that LCAN lever do to you? What's with the hate? Oh, you must be new here. This is not a LCAN stan channel, okay? We don't stan the LCAN around here. Kim Jong-un for 2 says, I like second focal plane because of old eyes. Old eyes, dog. You gotta... I'm not showing that on screen, Zany. Old eyes, second focal plane. I've never heard of this before. Does first focal plane look worse to old eyes? Is this new lore getting dropped on me right now? All right. Moonman for 5 says, what's with the hate, says ZH, as he is pushed in front of a bus driven by an elderly black man. What a fate. What a fate. Sorry, man. First time? Andy Ray for 2 says, I just saw a zombie EOTech. Yeah, I remember when they made those reticles. You can make any EOTech reticle. That's the wonderful thing about a holographic technology. You can just make them whatever you want. Thank you, Andy Ray. Chud for 2 says, yes, take Greenland. Give us more Aryan baddies. True. Okay. I'll take 50,000 Greenlanders and I'll remove 50 million. Not that from America. I think that's a fair trade. Thank you, Chud.
Even 50,000?
We looked at it last Monday. I think there's 50, 75,000, somewhere in that range. Ollie B for 2 says, Schrodinger's Caucasian nose identified. Yeah, it's white when they need to be, or when they want to sell you something, or when they want to push something anti-white. And then as soon as they receive any criticism, then suddenly they become Jewish. Sheepherder for 5 says, did you see Trump hit Hugo Chavez's gravesite with a JDAM during the Maduro thing? The Don Road Doctrine reserves 1 JDAM for trolling purposes. Yeah, how much is a JDAM? Like 500K? Something like that? I know some people were upset with that we desecrated the tomb of a foreign dictator, but like, I don't know, like, it could be based and cringe. right? Before and after, right? We don't have to respect communist graves. They're not people. Logan Sucks at Shooting for 5 says, Richard better be in a suit as well. Don't want to be underdressed now, do we? That's a good point. Although I'm pretty sure Richard's actually naked right now. Because
Always.
it's not about underdressed or overdressed. It's about balanced. Okay. So the more that I wear, the less that Richard wears, and vice versa. Thank you, Logan. McLeod for 5 says, encourage her to go after the millionaire and billionaires that encourage these people in office first. Hashtag no more luxury beliefs. Yeah, these people absolutely have luxury beliefs. Like if you're a poet in Minneapolis and you have free time to go protest ICE deporting illegals, murderers, rapists, scammers, that's a luxury belief. All right. That's a first world problem. Okay. 100%. Amrite Boy for 2 says, roast my parts bin upper. I sent you in the cord. Oh, no. Oh, no, Amrite Boy. I always remember Amrite Boy because he has the Sydney Sweeney profile picture because he is a gooner at his heart. Sad. That's my wife you're talking about, sir. All right. What are we even looking at here? Flash can on the end. Mega cringe. We have a stainless steel barrel and a gas block forced over top. Where did you get this from? Don't say me. Whatever you say, don't say me. We have a terrible handguard that's like 7 inches long. We have a 16-inch mid, 14.5 mid. I'm not even sure what I'm looking at here. A primary arms classic 3 to 12 on top, I think, maybe 3 to 9, and then mil-spec upper. You know, all jokes aside about how hideous the gas block exposure is on this, but like, I mean, ARs still work. They kind of just work. Lee Hundo says, see, Sydney Sweeney has a lot of husbands. You take that back. That back right now. Moonman for 5 says, reminder that it wasn't Hart Seller that let her kind. In the moment you let anyone from Eastern Europe or Southern Europe, you are letting in the Jews. Right. Hearts, there's lots of different moments in time where you could point to that things went bad. And I know some people were like, well, actually, John, it wasn't Hart Seller. But when Hart Seller was signed, we were like, I think 90% European. 90%. Okay. So that was a clear moment in time where the policy shifted and changed. And now I think it's a majority of households in America are now immigrant. It's now a majority of households are immigrant. So it's a clear point in time where things go bad. Now you can say the rot, the cancer, the subverters were here before that, of course, which is true. Call Me Dave for 2 says, help me find a Kaz V handguard. No, I won't do that unless you send me a DM or an email. Thank you. Kim Jong-un for 2 says, it's pooping off at a church in Salt Lake, me city. Okay. It's popping off at a church in Salt Lake City near me. All right. Mass event in Salt Lake City. All right. Well, that's very unfortunate. Let me, I guess, look into this. That's actually not 8 shot at a LDS church funeral. What? What? That's tragic. 8 people shot. Thank you, Kim Jong, but that's tragic. Breaking, at least 8 shot, 2 fatally in shooting at Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in Salt Lake City. Police say a funeral was taking place at the time. Do we have any sort of motive? Yeah, Salt Lake City, Utah is having issues. Let's see this.
The funeral taking place at the church. Out in the parking lot, there was some sort of altercation, and that's when shots were fired. The situation still is very fluid at this point. We know that there are at least 8 victims. I can confirm that 2 of them have died. 3 of them are in critical condition, and 3 others are in unknown condition. The funeral taking.
Okay, so we don't have a lot of information. I will monitor the situation as it unfolds, I guess. Josh for 5 says, yeah, get a G-Shock. Fine, I'll get a G-Shock. Thank you, Joshua. Paulie B for 2 says, hostile takeover needs a rhinoplasty. Well, that's one of their tools for fitting in. Did you read the story, actually, Richard, of this woman who was involved in the October 7th abductions in Israel 2 years ago, 1 year ago, whenever that was? I don't really pay attention. But she was so upset by the fact the Hamas kidnappers did not want her or like were disgusted by her that she got her therapist recommended she get a rhinoplasty to fix her nose.
What? No.
To help with her self-confidence. No, there's a real article written on this. No idea as to its validity or not, but apparently that is a real story. A October 7th victim, a Jewish woman, was so upset and traumatized because the Hamas people thought she was disgusting that her therapist, like a year later, recommends she gets a rhinoplasty to look more beautiful or less Jewish or the same thing. Rindle for 5 says, so where does my mulatto ass fall in the grand scheme? Think I'll get some free stuff out of Minnesota. Appreciate y'all. You smexy some beaches. Well, listen, dude, that's the hard part, right? Is what do you do? What do you do with everybody else? All right. Because we know people are problem. We know who the problems are. Okay. But what do you do with everybody else that's just kind of here doing their thing, being good people? That's always the problem. You know, the exceptions. Okay. That's the hard place. Even me, I'm not white. Thank you, Brindle. Appreciate you. Brindle, new member. Appreciate you, sir. Thank you much. Hope you're having a good time here. Chat's going to bully you, but, you know, you didn't have to be born this color. Just kidding. Subartic Psycho for 2 says, hey, it was a funeral. That is true. It was a funeral. It was a funeral. That's disturbing. All right. Well, we are moving on to Iran now. Because one regime change is not enough. We got to go for 2, okay? Maybe 3, actually. If you count Greenland, maybe 3. Maybe we'll get 3 regime changes within a week. We could be at 4 regime changes in the first month of 2026. But this is from, I don't know what network this is, but New Australia calls on its citizens to leave Iran immediately. So, you know, these notices go out every now and again if somebody thinks things are going to be getting a little squirrely somewhere. I don't know what an Australian citizen would be doing in Iran to begin with, or how many would be there. But with the unrest, with the moving of American troops into the UK and into Europe, maybe things are going down. You know, we're not entirely sure. Yeah, that would be my question, is why are you there in the first place? But Iran is popping off, okay, literally and figuratively, because they've been having protests. They've, you know, riots, all the sort of fun stuff that you would imagine in these places. Now, whether or not it's justified is kind of besides the point, because it's all CIA, Mossad, it's all fomented by Western powers or Middle Eastern powers, right? And we've wanted regime change in Iran for decades, right? That was one of the original goals of the whole GWAT era, was to eventually do something with Iran, and we just kind of never got around to it. They tried to. There were people that very famously were like, if you want peace in the Middle East, John Bolton, bomb Iran, bomb Iran. We're going to get rid of Iran, right? People just salivating to get rid of Iran. And it seems like we didn't get it right away, but maybe with a little bit of a conflict with Israel, we actually do go in and bomb Iran, of course, very famously. Fortunately, not a ground war at this point, but it does seem like Iran is kind of tearing itself apart. So I got to be careful with this on YouTube. But this is an assassination, allegedly. Reportedly footage showing the assassination of Mahmoud Hakicha. I don't know how you pronounce that in in Arab, all right, who was the police commander in Iran Shah, Iran. Very original name. I'm in Iran. Iran seems to be getting pretty spicy lately, so I'll be careful with this, but this is a straight up hit. Yeah, that's a straight up hit. That's allegedly, again, the assassination of Mahmoud Hakicha, however you pronounce that, the police commander in Iran Shah, Iran. So blood in the streets. Yes, Senator Bloodfeast, who just wanted to hear civilians die one more time before going, is finally satisfied, and he can finally rest in peace now that blood is being spilled in Iran. Replay it. I mean, did he die? Are you asking? Did he die? Okay, listen. All right. Minnesota woman, 3 shots to the face with a 9mm Glock. All right. Pretty sure she's gone. This guy, I think he's gone, bro. I don't think he made it. I'm just going to go out on a long one here. This might be a stretch. I don't think that guy made it. All right. I think he's gone. I think he's very much so gone at this point in time. Bill, hope he's okay. Yeah, no, that was a hit. That was a straight up hurt hit, and he was gone. Yeah, okay, maybe bulletproof glass in this 1995 Honda Civic that this guy's driving. Yeah, no one was featured in the making of this video. Personally, I'd survive this. That'll buff out, walk it off. Yeah, I don't think so, dude. I don't think so. I don't think so. I think y'all, built different. All right, but I think that guy's gone. I think he's gone. Oh, is it a BMW? That's actually kind of tragic then if it's an E36. Safe Flight. Dude, that's why I just had Safe Flight work on my my Equinox, which is a terrible car, by the way, but I just had glass work done. So it's traumatic. Yeah, no, he gone. He might not feel too good. He'll wake up with a couple aches and pains. It's just 6 rounds of X39 into the side of your head at like 6 feet. Well, okay, listen, I've seen some low IQ Somalis, but I'm not sure if you can live without a brain. Without a brain. This is what it feels like to chew 5 gum. Bang, 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 bang. Yeah. So yeah, things are heating up in Iran. We got some political unrest. All right. We got some civilian on cop action happening, kind of like the inverse of what's happening in America right now. Where's the Tylenol? It's good. Speed holes, dude. But that's not it. Okay. We still got more unrest going on in the world right now. We're not even done yet. Okay. Because we're seizing formerly Venezuelan, then rebranded to Russian tankers out in the Atlantic. And we've been chasing these guys for weeks. But our SEAL, I think this was a SEAL op. Our SEALs got another one or another 2 of these tankers that have been contested in the Atlantic. Allegedly, Russian warships were in the area just watching it take place, which is kind of funny when you think about it. Like they couldn't do anything about it, but
yeah, if I remember correctly, it was Russian submarines, correct?
There was 1 sub and then 2 regular boats, I want to say. And when they say warship, I think they're more like patrol vessels than like battleships or cruisers or whatnot. But yeah, there was 1 submarine in a picture that I had seen. Again, I don't know exactly how accurate that is, but yeah. Also, Pointless Hub is a very good channel on YouTube. He's not like a based channel, but he does like really funny video reviews and stuff like that. So if you're into like that side of aspect, Pointless Hub is pretty good. And he just randomly posts memes like this, which is good. So breaking, Russian state media reports attempts are being made to board the tanker Marinera, formerly Bella 1, right now. Now, this is old footage or old pictures. These are guys in little birds. All right. Very cool. But yeah, again, Marco Rubio, dude, he's everywhere. Slightly upset Marco Rubio. But no, this is the Russian state media is reporting U.S. Special Operation Forces attempting to board the Russia-flagged sanctioned tanker Marinera in the North Atlantic right now. This is DevGru, so these are CAG guys. CAG's had a busy week. These guys are CAG, but I think the guys we're about to watch on thermals are SEALs. But CAG's had a busy week, okay? They're taking presidents, they're taking tankers. These guys, now I think we must have taken 2 of them because there's a different one that I watched that we're about to watch together. Operators have boarded and seized the vessels. Russian military vessels are in the general vicinity of the operation, including a Russian submarine. It's unclear how close the vessels were to the operation. After the assault team secured the vessel, officials said the tanker captains and maintenance crews would embark to assume control of the Marinera. U.S. law enforcement Coast Guard personnel are now aboard the vessel, and it is effectively under U.S. jurisdiction. As of the latest reports, no official source has named the specific port or country to which the Marinera will be taken. So I'm pretty sure Russia was not happy about losing another couple tankers in the North Atlantic, which is why their ships were there to intercept and hopefully deter them from getting taken. But so this is just in. The United States has seized 2. Yes, it was 2 Ghost Fleet tanker ships, including the Russian-flagged tanker linked to the Venezuela following a multi-week-long pursuit, because we've been working on getting these for a long time now. In 2 pre-dawn operations today, the Coast Guard conducted back-to-back meticulously coordinated boardings of 2 Ghost Fleet tanker ships, one in the North Atlantic, that was DevGru, that was CAG, and one in international waters near the Caribbean. So this is the Caribbean one, and this is SEALs. I don't know what SEAL team they had here, but this is SEALs, the other one was CAG. One of those tankers, the motor tanker Bella 1, has been trying to evade the Coast Guard for weeks, even changing its flag and painting a new name on the hull while being pursued in a desperate and failed attempt to escape justice. The heroic crew of the USCGC Monroe pursued this vessel across the high seas through treacherous storms, keeping diligent watch and protecting our country with the determination and patriotism that makes Americans proud. And we have some cool footage. Like, I don't know, choppers on thermals looks cool, right? It's a vibe. You can see the heat wash coming off of the rotors. You can see the tips are like the hot spots. You can see the guys coming down. I mean, it's just cool footage, all right? Now, I'm not sure if they're really expecting much resistance, right? Which is why we put the Modern Warfare 1 clip in the intro, but definitely better safe than sorry. I imagine a high speed or a high sea operation jumping from a helicopter to a tanker, even though tankers are, relatively stable, still a very fun, interesting time to be one of these guys, but they're doing what they love. Okay. CAG and SEALs, they got to eat. It is funny how much this is like the Overwatch missions in Call of Duty, like zooming in, zooming out. You can see exactly where your ops are, where everybody is. At this point, I believe they've already taken it, right? They've taken the whole vessel, but still, this is just like Call of Duty. Oh my gosh. This is hot. Oh yeah. See, this is the thing, right? This is propaganda. This is perfect, okay? Just make this your marketing materials, all right? Like, show me the first person footage of them bagging Maduro, copy and paste that everywhere, and you're going to double enlistments tomorrow, okay? You show me the guys who jump first guys off the helos, all right? First person footage of them, bagging and tagging these guys, all right? You're going to double enlistments tomorrow. Show this during the Super Bowl at halftime. Yeah, edit this up, put some Hans Zimmer behind it, right? Goes hard. Goes very, very hard. I think there's some more footage. Franklin seizes an oil tanker. True. I think we have some more footage of this somewhere. Okay, there's the meme. I was looking for that. And Marco wept, for there were no more worlds to conquer. True. True. All right. Whatever, guys. All right, you actually military bros, if you're correcting me on who actually is doing the ops, it's cool, okay? Regardless, whoever's doing it, if it's SEAL Team 6, if it's CAG, whoever it is, okay? They're doing good work, okay? Special Development Group. All right, whatever, guys. I believe you. It's fine. It's fine. Thanks. All right, well, we have some rage bait. If you want to get into some rage bait, it's German. We're 2.5 hours in, so I don't know.
Get back! Get back! Let go! Let go! In his face! In his face!
Yeah, Mountain Cave Dweller says, I hate how we've somehow made the Chud Rubio cool. It is funny that people get memed into being cool when Marco Rubio is like the opposite of actually being that thing. It's very true. It's the state of our society, okay? Now this is last little story for tonight. This was in Germany. I'm not a news kind of guy, but this story isn't getting enough international coverage. I wonder why. Antifa terrorists, left-wing terrorists, set fire to power infrastructure in Berlin and knocked out electricity and heat in parts of the city. About 45,000 people are sitting without power or heating right now. And what did the Germans do? They rushed to evacuate migrants while leaving the elderly and cancer patients to sit in the cold. By the way, it's negative 12C in Germany. Now, if you're not, familiar with retard units of measure, that's about 10 degrees Fahrenheit, which is very cold. All right. With no power, that's suboptimal. And who did the Russian government, after far left terrorists take out the power grid, who did they rush to remove? Rush to protect? rush to get heating. Not the German citizen. No, of course not. Why would they do that? Elderly and cancer patients left to sit in the cold while migrants, not German people, i.e., not Germans, are the first to get support, the first to get help. This is like modern day Titanic, where you have like women and children first, except it's black and brown people first, and then white women and children are like pushed to the side to get brown people into the boats. That's essentially what this is, right? This is Netflix Germany. Thanks. At least they're calling them extreme leftists. Yeah, and they were protesting like climate change. It's like, so we're gonna turn off the power to Berlin and murder some old people, make sure that they don't have heat during the wintertime. Good point. Tooth says if only they had nuclear power plants. I feel like, yeah, if we weren't cringe and gay, if we have to be okay with just understanding that Slavs can't do nuclear power. Okay, so we can't just not use nuclear power because some Slavs 40 years ago were retards. Okay, we just have to understand that Slavs don't math so good. Okay. All right, that was our last little bit of rage bait for the night. I think that rounds it out. I didn't see any updates coming through on the LDS shooting in Salt Lake City. Let me refresh one more time and see if they have any sort of update for us right now on that. But if that's it, that's it. Richard, any thoughts so far?
No, just tragic, man.
A little update from Libs of TikTok says, breaking, someone just shot up a funeral outside Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in Salt Lake City, Utah. 2 killed, 8 injured, 3 critical. No suspect in custody. So still at large? Still at large. 2 to 6 injured, no suspects in custody. Police have a vehicle on camera and leads unsure if multiple shooters, motive unknown, roads remain closed, ongoing. Yeah, so that is the update on this as of right now. No shooter in custody, leads chasing people down, but that is it. That is all we have right now. Methodist versus LDS. I doubt that very much. We'll probably know more about this a little bit later. The Amish carried out a mass casualty events at a funeral. Somehow it doesn't sound like Amish people to me. Trantifa? Possible. Lightsport for 2 says, hi, new brown person. Self-delete, please. Whoa, all right. I have a clip for that, actually.
Kill yourself, faggot.
Whoa, thank you, Lightsport. Amrite Boy for 2 says, I sent the parts list. It's a funny mix for the memes. That horrible thing. It's a BCM upper, unknown 18-inch H-bar. That is not a heavy barrel, sir. Stainless steel, 223 wild, pack flash can, radical handguard, vortex mount, primary arms, Aslux 309, Expo BCG, and a Harris bipod with no charging handle. All right, Amrite Boy. All right, you need to stop super chatting and fix that build, dude. Logan for 2 says quintuple the defense budget. That's all it takes. That's all it takes to believe in America is a little bit of violence. Okay, a little bit of violence on the world stage. Paulie B
for the next person.
Paulie B for 5 says nothing says good guys won World War II like this German story. I can't. Yeah, shoot. I'm so happy that the good guys won World War II so that I can be ethnically replaced in my homeland by people who hate me. I'm so glad we have like gay pride and gay drag king story hour and transgender mutilation of children. I'm so glad that we won, guys, or something. Thank you, Polly. Appreciate you. It's easy to blackbill. McLeod for 2 says German government literally funds Antifa, though. Well, again, but they're tools of the state, right, to destabilize, right? So, like, when they commit a heinous act like this and they cut power for 45,000 Germans, right, that's a tool for them to destabilize, to take more power, and to get rid of people that they don't want, right? So there's a reason why they leave the old, the sick, and the cancer patients out in the cold while they're saving migrants, is because they want to remove you. They want you dead. Thank you, McLeod. And they're using these useful idiots to do so. Moonman for 5 says, I wish all my pro-Western democracy enjoyers a very pleasant, no trial past sentencing for having the audacity to benefit Zog. Yeah. Just a lot of work to do, okay? That's all. No black bills, just a lot of work to do. And you are the one blessed enough to do it. You get born into this timeline, into this time for a reason, for a purpose. Christ is king. We win in the end. And we got work to do in the meantime. All right? Work to do in the meantime. Richard, what do you got going on before we get out of here, sir?
Tomorrow, my video coming out is Vivek quitting the internet. He decided to rage quit the internet. And, well, he's Indian, so I don't think he can stay away from the internet.
like a scammer back to the honey that is the internet. Like an insider trader to Poly Market. Can't stay away for too long. But that is going to be on Focus Clips. I just dropped the link in the YouTube live chat. I'll put that in the Rumble chat as well. Just Some Space Cowboy over on Rumble says, the one in the North Atlantic was done by the Coast Guard. But is that actually the Coast Guard on the Little Birds? Is that actually Coast Guard operators? Because something tells me it's like Coast Guard ship with actual operators on it, right? That makes more sense to me, anyways. I mean,
no,
what is the Coast Guard's tier 1 asset? What's their squad called?
Haven't you seen them jumping out on the narco subs and stuff? Like they do have an elite group of guys.
Little Birds was SEAL Team 6. I'm getting mixed things. Coast Guard, MCERT. Huddle Pirates do have tier 1. Okay.
Yeah.
Little Birds aren't Coast Guard. Yeah, that's something like in conjunction with Coast Guard. Taxlet, MCERT, Drug Interaction Team, Coast Guard SWAT. I don't know, guys. But he says, Puddle Pirates fueling the real pirates stuff. This is the one Russian warships were present for. Okay, yeah, the one in the North Atlantic. Yeah. All right. I put the Discord link because you guys are mentioning it, so I might as well. Thank you for that clip, Amrite Boy. Let me go ahead and get this up here, and I'll drop the link in chat. But yeah, we got SHOT Show coming up. I'm still going to try and get Mike Mahalski of Sons of Liberty Gunworks on. Should have some other guests, some fun stuff later this week. Tomorrow I'll be out shooting the Mark 1. Hopefully it's good. But yeah, that's about all that we got for tonight, gentlemen. I really appreciate you guys hanging out, spending some time with us, being very generous with your time, with your energy. Everybody in the chat, all of the lurkers, because you are all wonderful, beautiful human beings. But, ew, way to ruin my night, Ivan. Just got an Elcan. Disgusting. But the rest of you wonderful gentlemen, enjoy your night, because I'll be enjoying mine with hopefully some time with some family and getting, oh gosh dang it. Stop super chatting, guys. I'm trying to get my outro, get my monologue going, okay? Todd for 5 says, I just got back from Germany a few days ago, got engaged while there. Well, congratulations to you and your Fraulein. People there are starting to hate the migrants more and more. It's nice. Yes, people do criticize America for being slow and stupid and, the proverbial frog in the pot. But I think that Europe will probably wake up and actually do something before America, if I had to guess. But congratulations on your engagement. That is wonderful news. I hope you have a wonderful, beautiful wedding and children and all sorts of fun things, and many blessings to you and your family. But with all of that out of the way, gentlemen, thank you so much for watching. Hope you all enjoyed. Christ is King. God bless.